It's a guy that used to make horns. He's a horner. It's like
Nah, you'd be horning them bitches, dude. You're
just
a horn.
horning out.
What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 166. I am your host, Anthony Trapani, and as always, I got some resident homies with me. We got the full clan together tonight. I got the professor, Joseph K, up top there. I got Casey Howard down at the bottom. I got Joel Horner on the other side right there. What up, y'all?
Yo.
And we are joined tonight by Matt Paulazzo. What up, Matt?
Hello.
Hello, brother.
Hello.
As always, we are here Thursday night live on Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube right now. That's the only three, right, guys?
Yeah.
Is there any other?
Oh, no, it's Instagram. Yeah. Sorry, I'm
Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.
Twitch, yep.
Got the multi-platform situation going. And what up to y'all who are here with us live? Let's get into the plug situation real quick. BattleForgeCoffee.com, always at the top. The reason why they're at the top, there's a couple of reasons. One, they're our homies. Two, they make good fucking coffee. And I want you to go buy that shit and represent that Cali Death scene. We all drink coffee. Why not drink death metal coffee from California? That's what's up. And buy a shirt or a mug too. That's our homies. We don't get anything from that at all. That is just literally us saying, hey, we back this and we want you to go support the homies. And at generatorrehearsalstudios.com is where you're going to be able to find a rehearsal studio down in the Oceanside, SoCal area. If you are willing to drive there, if you're in that area, go jam out, get creative, and make us some new music to talk about on this show.
Yeah. And speaking of San Diego, North County area, we have a new plug for tonight. It's actually the shirt that I'm wearing right now. My buddy here, Dave's Hot Tubs. He is the pool baron of San Diego. He used to have a pool business as well, but now he specializes in hot tubs, and it's awesome. And yeah, so Dave's Hot Tubs, check it out.
Who doesn't enjoy a hot tub, guys?
Really. Yeah.
Have you ever met somebody who's like, nah, dude, I don't like hot tubs, dude?
It's an important thing, and
it is.
Basically the way to get a hold of him or check it out is to check out his Instagram. Again, Dave's Hot Tubs. If you look right here, can you guys see that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a fancy hot tub.
So some nice hot tubs by the beach. Check it out. Pretty sick. So yeah, dude. If you have a hot tub, want to get that thing.
Is that Dave right there?
Spick and span. Yes, sir. That's right.
What up, Dave?
So shout out. So that's the new plug for tonight. And
nice, dude.
Oh yeah.
And then we wait. Dude. There's one more, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
What do we always? What's the one I missed? There we go. I'm like, I forget our own plug. CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com is where you're gonna buy some swag to be a walking billboard for us. So go get a t-shirt, put it on, go to a show, say, hey guys, this is a cool podcast. All right. Anything else? Oh, Joseph, got shows?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I got a band that did something this week, so I can talk about it here. Lasta Lucy announced our record that I've been talking about on this show for a year or more, God Form, and here's the album art. I'm showing it. It's a Par Olofsson piece. It's
so nice.
The same universe as Moksha. Josh explained to me the difference in location and setting between this album art and Moksha. I I don't remember the conceptual thing, but I will say if you put those two records next to each other, they do look really, really sick.
Hell
And
yeah.
Nice.
so I'm also posting in our comments right now a link to the song that first came out from the album. It's called Sheham Sedance or something. Shedem Seance. I don't know the new song names. These are like, I know them by the demo names or whatever. So
it's all it was recorded with David Taro, right?
Yeah, this is
damn.
This is an Atero production. I did drums with Dave back in March. Same room where, you know, Aborted. Wait, not Aborted. What? I'm looking at Matt and I'm like thinking about his recent cover. But he did he did Cattle. He's done a Legion.
Oh, yeah.
He's
David Taro,
Trial in that room. So
he did do the new Aborted record though. So
he did Aborted, yeah. So
Yeah.
there, it's right. I
Out
was
yet,
right.
but-
Okay, tripping.
Oh yeah. Well, awesome. And is it is there a release date on that, or does that come out? I mean, I'm sorry, I can't even keep track of what's going on.
We should get the release date out real soon. I know the pre-order and release info is coming next week. It's kind of all in the label. We're just riding along for the ride at this point.
Cool.
But we have music videos dropping and everything soon. So, but check out that first single. It's a short banger. And so
Nice.
that's my plug for the day. So
shout out to the Dreamer Boys in the chat right now. We got Chris, Beatty, and
Crispy
Rick.
Crane. What up, babe?
Yeah.
Ricky, fucking you guys. That's so funny that you guys both popped in and had the same joke at the same minute, dude. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Dave's hot chicken tubs and Dave's hot chicken and bathtubs. That was you guys should be in a band together if you guys are making the same jokes at the same time. All right. Oh, and by the way, just a little extra plug. Chris Beatty's the guy who did our intro. For all you guys who still ask that question, you want to know what's up with the intro. It is a collab between Chris Beatty and Joseph K. And it is something that I love listening to every single week before we start doing this show. So I'm glad you guys enjoy it. We see that comment 1 in every 3 videos. Who did the intro? It's at the end of the intro, guys. If you see the text at the very end of the intro, all the plugs are there, guys.
You'd be sick as like if we kind of like getting close to our, I don't know, I guess 200th episode or something. If we just like got like a GoFundMe or something to like pay Chris and Joseph to like finish it, like make the full song, you know, like to like
only if I can
know.
do vocals on it, then we'll do it whole thing.
It's an instrumental, but you can do vocals on it. I'll do vocals on it too, dude. I'll go.
he's got a
fucking suck. Dun, dun, dun.
I'll be like, I just want to
Cali
read vocals.
podcast.
Cali Death podcast here again once a week. I don't know, like something stupid.
Like a jingle, yeah.
Oh shit! All right,
Dude,
Enough about us.
this rain down here in San Diego has been a little bit insane.
Yeah, you guys have been
I've
in the news.
been texting with the dude at my studio. My room got not flooded, but there's leaks in my little jam room, and it's never happened before ever. And so it's like, fuck. It's like, I don't know where to put the bucket. Like it's not raining now and stuff. And I'm like texting him like, it's all
I
good.
feel like California it's just turned into like this random thing. It's like, oh, there's a storm coming tomorrow, and you're like, oh, okay. And they're like, oh, there's like, you know, it's gonna be a little rain and like 70-mile-an-hour winds, like randomly, but it's like not a big deal.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden, like all of our shit, just like all these trees fell everywhere, and it was like the
breaking down,
biggest
power
windstorm I've
goes
ever
out.
been part of. And I'm like,
I was at work on like Tuesday, I think it was, and it was just like, dude, it was a tornado warning. Like,
oh yeah, I saw the picture of it in
Like,
San Diego
oh,
like forming. I was like, what the fuck is a tornado in San
what's
Diego?
going on around here, dude? First the hurricane last year, and now this. The fuck? Come on. I want my money back. It's bullshit.
I want money back.
Yeah.
And just go to the city council and be like, I want my money back, dude.
Yeah.
Matt, let's hear your list of plugs you want people to hear about. Where do you want people to go online for all things Matt Paulazzo?
Oh man, I'm really fucking shit at being on the internet, but
Makes 2 of us, brother.
yes. No, I would say just my band Aegaeon. We have an Instagram that we haven't posted anything on in like 2 years. Check that out.
Oh, yeah.
We've been working in the dark for a while. We kind of didn't want to say anything until this year when we're releasing something finally. So
Mhm.
Aegaeon Experience on Instagram. I'm sure most people who follow this podcast follow Zenith Passage already.
Oh, yeah.
So and then also playing with I got some shows coming up in the upcoming months with the fellas in Oceano. That was real.
There we go. Here we are.
Nice.
Boom.
Oh, that
On
one's
that
it's got
one.
the shadow behind it. That's nice.
Yeah, dude, there you go.
Yeah.
No one pops.
Otherwise,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it does. But otherwise, just doing usual. I just have an Instagram page. That's like all I got, and a YouTube. But
Do you teach at all?
I have and am willing to.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if you, I
Any
mean,
have
that's
questions?
I always noticed that we always kind of like mention it last, but a lot of musicians and stuff like that we have on, we're like, what do you want to promote? They're like, oh, you could buy a shirt here, blah blah blah. But yeah, learning from musicians that you respect and stuff is that's definitely a cool little pathway we have now with the interwebs, and also with you playing live shows and stuff. Do you ever plan on like doing the like a lot of drummers and stuff will be like, why do lessons at on tour or like
Yeah, I've considered it, and the amount of questions I get about swivel technique is obscene. So I feel like I should
capitalize?
start learning how to do that. I just got to be a little more bold on my social media presence. Be like, I exist. Hello.
I will.
No, dude, I think
will.
that,
Yeah.
go for it.
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to say that just if you want to learn from somebody, Matt's the guy. He's one of the sickest to do it. The swivel game is insane. I'm talking 280, 280 plus
Yeah,
single
dude.
fucking footed. It's
okay.
like old school as fuck. It's super sick.
So I was watching a couple of videos on your Instagram. I mean, I've seen you play before, and I know you're sick and all this, but like I was watching a couple of videos, and I was just like, whoa! And I was like, you're doing singles like that fast, like that? Okay, yeah, that's okay. So yeah, and I was just like, oh, he's one of those guys. Like it was like another guy you showed me, Joseph, that was kind of like that. What was that other guy?
Probably Dave, who's in Bureau now.
What was it?
But also, I would say
you cut out for a second for
You cut
Obscura. You
out
said?
on the band name.
yeah.
There was a band. There was a name of a band or something he was from. But anyways, but dude, I was like, it's really hard. I mean, Callias kind of was doing that like stuff like back in the like old school days. It was like, wait, you're actually doing single? Like how like some of those videos, you're just like, wait, what? Like, but that's what it was like again. I was like watching, I was like, holy fuck. Like,
Can you explain just for me? And I know a lot of
Yeah.
people that don't play drums and stuff. Like, what's different about doing a swivel technique singles than doing another technique?
Instead of
here's
the foot.
Mhm.
Instead of doing like just straight like like that.
Yeah.
Between every stroke, I'm like, so stroke out, stroke in, out, in, and it's basically just interweaving that motion between. So it's like dun, 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 dun,
Whoa.
dun, dun, dun,
And if
dun.
if people that are listening only and that can't see this, he's masturbating live on the air.
Yes, that's the sound I
Would
make
you
too.
compare that
Stroke
to
out
like,
and in.
Gravity Blast, like similar technique in the sense that there's like you're
Kind of.
playing with the response of the pedal,
Sick drummer, hi sick drummer. I don't know who's with
or
sick drummer tonight. but
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the vocalist trying to be like, I know, I can feel what you're talking about, and I actually don't.
yeah, it's definitely in a way it is like that because when you gravity blast, you're using the rim to get like a secondary hit.
Mhm.
So it's like you're doing
Mhm.
half the work with twice the strokes. With swivel, you're still playing every stroke, but you're just using a secondary muscle group for each one. So it's like different muscle group here, different muscle group here, and so you can interweave it. And it's like
You just made me want to ask you a question right now. So, ever since you learned the swivel technique, has muscle definition changed in your legs?
honestly, it's actually because I started off doing like straight singles, just heel down. Honestly, I would say it's actually minimized because I've actually used so much less effort now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say something too. My recollection of like the old days, like when it was like the early 2000s, and it was like, oh, Roddy, and like the guy. Okay, so the Derek Roddy Forum and all that kind of like those days, and like my memory of like early interviews with like, I think maybe it was Tim or Derek or someone, but they were kind of just like, I think it was Tim maybe actually, but he was like, oh, the swivel technique is like something that just like happens, but it's not something that like, it's not a technique. It's just like your foot moves that way. And it was like, it's not like a technique that they like, like focus on, pursue, master, any of that. It's kind of just like, it just happens. It's like a side effect of playing or something like that. And that was always in my head for like so many years, like forever. And I was just like, oh, it's not actually, but then I've heard, of course, even 10, 15 years ago, it became a technique. It was something that was considered a technique. And so like, maybe I had misinformation, or maybe that was just that someone's perception or something, but like, I don't know. I've just never thought of it. Yeah. So what do you guys think?
Well,
you got Professor.
I'll chime in, but I'll let the master explain after. But
Mhm.
what I remember
Master.
them saying is like Georgian guys would be like, if you start approaching those speeds and playing single strokes, your feet will naturally try to conserve their energy by finding like a shortcutted like way to use multiple muscle groups or whatever. So it's not so much that you have to learn it as you'll naturally start to do it. But I don't know, and I'm not like always practicing swiveling, so I don't know if it really comes that natural. I think it is something you might actually have to think about doing to really learn it. So
yeah, it is.
The first time I saw it in person was Spencer from Son of Aurelius.
Oh yeah.
I just found it. I found like what it actually was though, because I didn't know what you were talking about. It's this part right here.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what the fuck?
Do you get like ankle fatigue, dude? Like, or knee fatigue from the side to side twist?
When I first started, I did, and that was a quick concern. But I am blessed with a mother who has been a yoga teacher my whole life.
Oh,
nice, dude.
Nice.
She was quick to give me some like exercises on how to not hurt myself and like reinforce. It's not doing extreme motions to the point where I would hurt it. Because when I first started, I was definitely like, you really just try to like whip your ankles out as much as you can, and that does fuck with your knees a lot. So as time went on, I just started learning to relax, and there is actually science behind getting your heel. A lot of people see that you'll see this pressure swivel thing. There's actually like a science behind dropping your heel closer to the floor, as close to the floor as possible, that relieves a bunch of the I don't know the technical terms, but the muscles that support the knee. That actually makes it much more healthy and safer to do.
Trip. So
wow,
you're already making me want to just like pull away from this for a second, because you mentioned that your mom was avid, or you said she was an instructor, yoga instructor.
Yeah, she still is, since pretty much my whole life actually. So
okay, so talk about that a little bit, dude. So as a child, how young were you when she introduced yoga, or just stretching and getting limber and being like taking physical care of your body?
She was always trying to like integrate it into me. I, being me, as a lot of part of growing up is you kind of rebel against what your parents are.
Right.
So I naturally kind of like didn't want anything to do with it, even all the way through high school, which is when I was starting to play drums, was in high school. So I really, after into my early 20s, I started feeling the pain kind of stuff. And then my mom showed me some stuff. And actually also way back in the day, I did a sick drummer magazine competition with
shout out Ian
for Misery Index back in like 2015, which I had the honor of winning, which was cool. But I literally learned the song like 2 days before, and Jarvis is literally like just whole fucking time, and I totally threw out my wrists doing that, because I learned the song like the day before I recorded it. So I just played it for 10 hours straight. But I started hurting. So I started asking my mom more and more, and she started showing me some stuff. And then honestly, I didn't really get into doing it every day. I do yoga every morning now. Probably about 3-ish years ago.
Nice,
and
dude.
my physical fitness, my well-being, my drumming, everything's gotten better. It's like,
how awesome is that, dude?
Nice.
You know, And isn't that funny? There's so many times in your head like, what if I just listened to mom?
I know. Mom's always right.
Mom is always right, dude. Hashtag metal for moms.
Yeah, that actually works out with that little story.
It does, definitely.
Oh, where is it? Here it is.
I think that
Yeah,
really is. That's, I mean, with not just yoga and your mom, but I'm saying we talk about rebelling against your parents and stuff like that. There's a lot of times where you realize that you shouldn't have, and now you got to kind of, you know, make up for lost time in certain situations. You know, but that, what better time than now? You know, and then you said being 3 years into it, I'm sure you're way more limber than me right now. I used to be able to get down and like really put my arms on the ground when I'd be, you know, but that was because I was constantly moving and doing it every day. Right. And that's the thing, dude, is keeping the routine. The routine is hard
also too. I want to clear up real quick. The metal for moms, we're not like being like weird because people haven't watched for a while. It's kind of an inside joke. I mean, my mom and also Beatty's mom was like into metal and stuff, and my mom randomly asked me out of nowhere, you know, like, oh, I've listened to this band Dreamer, have you heard of them? And I'm like, what the fuck, out of all the metal you could have like, brought up, she's all, this band Dreamer is really sick. And I'm like, you didn't even, how did you find that? I don't even know. She just like on
like,
YouTube.
The guitar player did the intro to my show, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mom's dream come true kind of music.
Yeah, it's not like oh, metal for MILFs. We're not like being stupid about it. We're being
metal
like
for
MILFs. Like, we just, I know, with no context, so we're just saying metal for moms.
Ridiculous.
Dude. It just sounds like a bro
all
idiot
all
thing,
moms.
So.
All moms.
Yeah, all moms.
Not all moms are MILFs, but all MILFs are moms, bro.
Poetry.
Wow. All right.
I want to just set out the timeline. I know, Matt, you've been in like a ton of sick bands. Or played with a ton of sick bands. I want to make sure we talk about your like Decrepit Birth tour, obviously, with these alumni.
That's right.
Here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
I heard about
filling in for Black Dahlia as well on that tour. Obviously, your Zenith stuff. And then obviously Aegaeon, because you're like the main songwriter. I think
we'll get to all that, dude.
So I'm going to make sure that's
everyone else hit all those.
Yeah,
how to hit
that's definitely in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, in the near future, I just want to get, you know how we do it. We got to go back to the beginning with this gentleman. Matt,
Battleforge Scarfy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Well, no, what were you going to say?
Not the beginning. I was like battleforgecoffee.com.
Yeah, battleforgecoffee.com.
Go back to the beginning, dude.
Get the homies up. What if I did do that, dude? How long would it take for you guys to reset me? Like,
dude, we just mute you and then you get all mad and then we just start talking.
And then I would get mad. Yep, all that stuff. All right, Matt. We already talked about mom and stuff. Let's go back into childhood and let's talk about what it was like being little Matt in your household. Who was creative around you? When did you when were you attracted to art at the earliest memory you could think of?
For me, honestly, I'd say the youngest memory. I don't know exactly. I can't pinpoint it. I'm guessing I was 3 or 4. I was sitting in the back seat driving in Northern California with my family somewhere. And my dad's favorite band is Van Halen. Nice. And so I just remember hearing that. And that was like my first real memory of being like, this is really cool. I don't know what's happening to me. Just, you know, the euphoria of coming to music and stuff like that. But when I tell this story a lot to people who know me. When I was like 6, I got one of those in the 90s. I got one of those like cheap, maybe it was Sony. I don't remember, like little boom boxes with like a CD cassette thing on it. Sounded terrible. But I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And I had like 4 CDs that I kind of took from my parents. I had Def Leppard's Hysteria and the Cars' Greatest Hits, Goo Goo Dolls' Boy Named Goo, and then a lot of people don't like it, but Van Halen's last like real record, which was called Balance. I had those 4, and I would come home from school and I would just sit on the floor and like listen to those like front to back and just sit in front of it and not do anything.
And so how old were you at that time?
Like ages, like I was like age 6 to 8.
And so what year were you born?
92. I'm 31.
Okay. So 98, you're sitting there and you're listening to, so are you, what's the sibling situation? Are you the youngest, oldest, middle, what?
I'm the oldest. I got a little sister who's like a year and a half younger than me.
Okay, so are your parents fairly young, or?
My mom had me when she's 25 and my dad was 33. So
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Definitely, I'm just hearing the references of music. I'm trying to figure out, where they were. But I guess you could definitely. I'm into all the '80s stuff too, and I'm younger than your parents, so it's so you're sitting there and so Jack. It's taking CDs from the parents. That's something that I forgot about until you just said that I would. Definitely steal CDs out of the collection and keep them in my room until the parents figured out that they were missing.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a rad thing to do. So you're saying 6, so what was the first instrument for you? Was it drums or was it something else?
It wasn't drums. We had a guitar in the house. One of my dad never really took it seriously, but every once in a while he would attempt to play like 316 by Van Halen, which is like that little thing. He would do that every like few weeks, and I would hear him getting frustrated about that. He never really played music though, but so he had a guitar. I would pick it up every once in a while, but I never did anything with it. So, but I went to this weird hippie kind of school system called the Waldorf School growing up after like 5th grade. And when I joined in 5th grade, they make you play like an orchestral string instrument. And I played fucking viola.
Damn.
I absolutely hated it. And I was already getting into metal. So I would legitimately, like, I never wanted to practice. So I would literally just down tune it and just chug on it with a bow. But that was my first introduction to like playing an instrument and having to. But then on a whim, one day, like around the time right before I was starting high school, I was still a pop punk kid and also a metal kid. So I was listening to like Blink-182, but I was also into like the Kill Switch at the time and all that stuff. And I just jokingly went up to my mom, hoping that like, hey, can I play drums? And expecting her to just like laugh at me and say no. And she said, if you take lessons. And that's kind of just how it started. So
yeah,
that's awesome. That's totally awesome.
I'm sorry if you already mentioned it, but where were you born? Where were you growing up?
I was born in Santa Barbara, California.
Okay.
Which is lovely, but we had to move out of there when I was pretty young. It's really expensive. Then I spent most of my formative years in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. How far is that from Albuquerque?
Just an hour.
An hour? Yeah. That's where I was born in Albuquerque. And
oh, hell yeah. Okay.
My parents moved. I mean, they moved out to Santa Cruz, but they've since moved back. And so like all my extended family and stuff's Albuquerque and stuff like that. So I'm
okay.
Are you green chili or red chili? What's going on with
I'm a red chili guy.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know which if you're like a red or green, I'll do Christmas too. But,
Christmas,
yeah, but
dude, Christmas, that sounds like my deal. I'm sure I would like both of them, so I would just say mix it up.
Yeah. It's a trippy place. I mean, like I said, I've talked about it a few times in the podcast, but you go to anywhere, go to McDonald's, and it's like
they got green
chili on it. It's not like it's the only place in the United States, after touring a bunch, where it's like they offer it on all of the fast food items of
when your local shit is potent when it's on the corporate fast food menus in that area. It's so loud that you guys love that corporate is literally having meetings like, okay, we need to add these things to the menus in these specific parts because these people love this shit so much that we want to just try and get their fucking dollar menu value, bro.
Nah, I want to believe it's grassroots. It's like every single franchise owner is like, of course we're doing it.
Yeah,
it's not like top
totally
down.
Right, dude.
That's
totally
my theory.
Right, because it's the independent, Richies in those areas that grew up there. There's actually a dude from Pacifica that owns a McDonald's that used to live right up the street from my house, and you could totally tell he was like Mr. Rich Man in the neighborhood, but at the same time he was Pacifica the whole time. So it's like those people definitely buy a franchise, and then they're trying to infuse their local, tastes.
I don't really see it that often though. I don't, like, if we go to Montreal or you go to Quebec or something, I don't see, like, I don't go to, I've never gone to I probably don't go to fast food places when I'm out there, but you don't see, like, if there was a McDonald's, they don't going to offer poutine, McDonald's, for fries. It's like New Mexico is the only place I've ever seen where they infuse the like local delicacy in all of like Wendy's, whatever the KFC, anything you can think of, it's all Subway. In there. Yeah, Subway. Like, you never, like, that's the only place where it's like, well, okay, here we'll do it, but like everywhere else is kind of like you don't really see it that often.
Yeah. I guess in Europe it is, but dude, we're in the fucking McDonald's weeds right now. Come on, dude. We're not even a fight. We just got past a half an hour. We're in the McDonald's.
You guys ever tried a Big Mac, dude?
All right. Albuquerque, or not Albuquerque? Sorry, what was the city that you said you were in?
Santa Fe, yeah. Santa Fe.
Okay, so and you said you moved out there when you were young. How old when you moved?
I was like about to turn 10, so.
Okay, so you were definitely conscious as you were moving. So talk about a little bit what it's like to move at that age, dude. Move away from your homies that you've
completely different style of place too. Completely different style place.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually, so it's not one of my proudest specialties, but I'm actually like really pro at moving. I'm 31 now. This is my 31st home.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, I'm in my 31st residency of my life.
So you're a pro for sure, dude.
Yeah. So but like moving, dude. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. And I'm actually about to fucking move again. But it's moving, I will say moving from Santa Barbara to Santa Fe, New Mexico was like kind of weird because I was like, there were palm trees and beaches and pretty people over here. Yeah. No, and then I was like, we're moving to the desert. There's brown here. And
so was the moving around a bunch when you were a kid though too, or did the moving start to pick up after you started moving out? So you guys never really rooted yourself in a place.
No, we never really rooted. I was born in Santa Barbara. I lived there for real short. Santa Barbara, Lompoc, California. I've lived in Pleasant Hill, California. I've lived in Foster City, California.
No shit.
Phoenix, Arizona, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Taos, New Mexico.
Fuck yeah, Taos.
Yeah, dude. Taos is like the craziest. If you want to meet the craziest New Mexicans, that's where you
go. Totally.
I've lived in St. Paul, Minnesota. I've lived in Evansville, Indiana. I lived in
Jesus. So it's not like moving. You're not moving down the street. You're not moving to a new neighborhood. It's like you're moving states. That's a good distinction to make, actually.
I gotta know, what was Dad doing? What was the reason why you guys were popping around all over the place?
He was doing like a lot of disaster restoration business stuff. Like you guys have probably seen like Coit or Service Master.
Yeah.
My dad used to he worked for those kind of companies when I was a kid.
Okay.
And he would work for Service Master for a bit. Then he would go work for Coit. And then when I was 10, he'd been doing that for like 15 years at that point, even before I was born. And then he got offered to own a Service Master franchise in New Mexico. So we moved to New Mexico. And
interesting.
Yeah, I know it's real riveting stuff, but it's like
no, but still, that's the reason why you're moving around, though.
Yeah,
it is riveting. That's why I asked the question, dude. All right, so where were you living? You were in New Mexico when you asked for the drum set?
Yeah, I was in New Mexico. I was I thought it would make girls like me more. Didn't work that way.
Take your aggression out on the skins, bro.
Just one more BPM, dude.
Yeah, just one more, dude. One more BPM, then it'll happen. I'm waiting. You can do 281.
All drummers are just like, dude, if I just get a little faster, dude,
it's gonna happen.
Let's see what's flowing in, dude.
Like, what's the ratio of like BPM to like the hotter the person, like it's like, oh, you can only
Yeah.
do like 110. It's like once you get 25 more, then you move up another point, and then
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it's we're playing death metal, like unlistenable stuff to women, just like, yeah, dude, I just need to fucking get faster so they don't understand it as much. It's gonna
There's
be
so
way
many of
bigger.
us though. There's
Yeah.
got to be a chick out there that literally is like the hottest drummer is the fastest drummer. There's one chick. Everybody, nobody's gonna bet me in Vegas on that. There's one chick out of 8 billion that's like the fastest drummer.
You can play a few Blink-182 songs on the drums, and they're just like looking
Yeah.
for the fastest.
Dude, dude,
That's rude.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
low key probably not gonna want to be with that girl if she exists. So.
Yeah. They're looking for the fastest drummer.
Holy shit, you're probably nuts.
So mom's saying, all right, we'll figure out the drum set situation if you get lessons, and you agreed to that.
Yeah, I did.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Oh shit.
Really...
But yeah, dude. So she said, I agree if you go and actually pursue it, you know, because that's actually a smart move from your mom, because, you know, so many people start and fail, not just instruments, but everything in life, you know,
right.
Start and decide that they don't want to do it anymore, and then they back out, and then you're stuck with a drum set in the garage. She's just looking at the long haul, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So how was getting lessons? Was it a place, or did it just a person that you had to go to their house? They came to your house?
My first teacher was there was a girl in my sister's class, year below me, who had an older brother who was like a drummer. And my sister told her friend that my brother was going to start playing drums. And she's like, oh, my brother plays drums. He teaches drums. And so I started getting lessons from this dude named Jackson Matei in Santa Fe. And he played in this local band in Santa Fe called Toast. It's like kind of like jammy kind of. He's pretty cool. He was very cool. I was like a shy kid, and he was like a hot local musician kind of dude. Ladies like him, shit, you know. And first thing he made me learn how to do was learn how to play Guerrilla Radio, Rage Against the Machine, or whatever. Yeah. So that was like where I started, but I only took lessons with him for like a few months, and then we moved. Surprising. And I moved to this place outside of Santa Fe called Lamy, and it's a really tiny little place. And that's where I spent most of my time. And it turns out we set up my drum set and I started playing it. My neighbor could hear it, but it turns out my neighbor had been this like jazz drummer for like 30 years.
Oh, damn.
And he was just like, you know, I teach lessons if you want to take lessons. So he just became my teacher through high school pretty much. His name was Dave Brady.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's rad as shit. So talk about did you just go over to his place and play on his kit?
Sometimes he would come over to my place, but a lot of the time he wanted me to come over to his place to kind of like make me uncomfortable. Which is cool. Because he was like a mailman who just like played local jazz clubs at night.
Wow.
And he's a real trippy dude.
Was he a shredder?
He was a shredder. He's a shredder. He referred to everybody as like cats and all that stuff.
Yeah. Old school. Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude. Old cat. I'm like, oh shit.
It turned to dog later. Just turned. What's up, dog?
What's up?
That is strange how it just evolved into that too. Yeah. But that's rad, dude. So he heard you, and he saw some kind of potential to where he wants to devote some part of his life to help you, dude. That's fucking rad.
Yeah. It was real cool. Real cool. He's a great dude. I owe a lot to that man. He made me like, because I was like in high school, I was like, I want to listen to Decapitated, and he was like, we're not going to do that. You can do that on your own time. And so he like made me do all this stuff. He made me like sit in for him at like jazz clubs.
What did he think of that? Like hearing like Decapitated for the first time.
You're right.
What did it like a jazz drummer like at the time? It's like, because are you what, like Nihility or or something?
My favorite was, so I'm a little bit of a late bloomer, so I was obsessed with Organic Hallucinosis.
Okay.
And it's got Day 69 on it. So it's got that little drum solo. And I was showing him that song, and he was just like, he's like, these cats are crazy, man. So yeah, he's real funny. He has like this little head bobbing motion. He'd be like, "Yeah, these cats are crazy, man."
So he was bobbing to it, huh? Okay.
Yeah, he's bobbing. He's typical every metalhead, just like whatever. It's like, oh, I don't know about the vocals. And you're like, yeah, whatever. I've heard that a million and a half times in my life. But he'd just be like, dude, the drums are bonkers, man.
So, yeah. That's the same with me. I had a local guitar teacher for me that taught me like my first songs ever, and I was like 17 or 18, just like, okay, I want to get like, just like start playing like legitimately, and then I got a necrophagist. It was before, it was like from the internet. It wasn't even like they had not signed a Willow Tip yet. It was just that original Onset album.
Oh yeah,
and I like, it was just all written in shitty burned CD because it wasn't available anywhere. And I brought it to him, and I was like, dude, teach me this. He's like, go fuck yourself, because we're not starting here. But the thing is, I left it there, and I ran into him probably 10, 15 years later, and he was like, dude, I show that to all my students. I show that. That's like the album I show to everyone. Be like, oh, you want to talk about crazy? Check this shit out. You know, he used that like little shitty like fucking Sharpie necrophagist thing I drew on there, and like, he's all, dude, I used that for every, it skips on track 6, but like every other track I like fucking. But that's really cool to like see him, or see your teacher kind of like, a lot of people you kind of expect sometimes the older generation to be like, yeah, well, you know, blah blah blah, excuse here, excuse there, why I don't like it. But to like actually kind of embrace it a little bit and be like, they're fucking crazy, but still, let's start
the whole reason why I was here.
Yeah.
Joel beat me to it, but it's so funny that Joel and I had the exact same question because I wanted to see his reaction. And it literally is the whole reason why Joel and I are asking that question, because we're waiting for one of those, you know, more experienced older dudes to give us the nod, even if they're not in death metal or whatever. We're just looking for one of those respected dudes in our eyes to be introduced to something that we're in love with, and give us the like, yeah, little wink, like that shit's dope. So yeah, but that's it. It's no matter what, dude, you put death metal on the plate of somebody who's never been served death metal before, it's not gonna go well 99% of the time, you know. There's gonna be elements that somebody that those people might be able to cling to, whether it be, you know, the guitar or percussion. It's definitely not gonna be the vocals, like we were just saying. And it's been a common theme on this show, dude. 166 episodes in, the vocals will never be accepted right off the bat if the person hasn't been introduced to that style of vocal delivery. Until then, you know, it's always going to hit them like a curveball. But there's some elements in this music that I know, if the right ears from somebody outside of this thing were to listen to it, they can still kind of grasp certain aspects of it and, you know, filter it into their perceptions of what music sounds like, blah, 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 blah. We're looking for the dude who's just like, all right, that shit's crazy, but he still gave you the nods. So I'm like, that's the only thing we're looking for in that, dude, is just like, yeah,
cool. That's legit. Yeah, it's definitely
it's not bullshit. You guys are actually doing something cool, even though it's something that I can't get into necessarily. I see that there is talent involved. That's all it is. Because most people are just like, it's just noise, you know, because they can't comprehend the.
It's just, I mean, it's like what they were raised with. They're raised with, you know, it's like vocals are first, and that's what we want to sing along with when we're not like playing instruments. So. It's just kind of like I see that with a lot of people, and I understand it a lot, but and so that's why I don't even want to, when people would ask me what band you toured with, I just make up a name. I just don't even want to.
Don't look.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't even want to, like, I don't want to go through that again. I don't want you to ask me, oh, it's cool, like, you guys are talented, but the vocals, I just like, it's like, it's like it's like I'm triggered now. like
Right.
I get triggered when you say like the vocals. Go ahead, Casey.
I had a guy go off at me at Walmart the other day, like the checkout guy with the receipt, and he's like, "Oh, what's that shirt?" It was like a Fitty and I shirt or something, and he's just like,
Nice.
and just like, "Oh, is that one of those bands with the scream vocals?" It's like they just started going on, like it was almost like it's like a religious thing or something. It's like, oh, that's just not.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But I think it's cool
like
now that
like wearing a
the
different symbol.
the imagery of your
Yeah.
shirt it like triggered a memory of screaming vocal extreme band. So now in just the regular setting, like going to the grocery store, that like if I were to wear this shirt, I don't think people are gonna be like, does that sound like Taylor Swift? You know?
Yeah.
It's
But-
definitely gonna be extreme.
But to the young crowd, that's becoming all cool now, like the crazy logos and all that, and the metal logo. It's like a total thing with, of course, and even with, of course, the Kardashians and all.
But how
that.
sick is if you wear a Last of Lucy shirt
But-
and you're at the place and someone goes like, "Fuck yeah, Last of Lucy," and then you're like, "That's like
I'm
the
like, I
sickest
do a
like
Yeah, yeah.
camaraderie
Your
thing
drummer
ever."
guy. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, and it's like no, it's still like if someone like recognizes a Dreamer shirt or an Odia shirt or whatever shirt, a Zenith, you're like, "Fuck yeah, dude." Like, want to shake their hand. What's your name?
Literally,
Let's go. I
we're
want.
on the
Should
same
we be
level.
friends? Now I have to like
Yeah.
break down if she should be friends or not. Like, are you weird or what's going on? Like,
What do
but,
you do for a living?
but seeing that, there's been a lot of like, it's like there's been reels made of like two guys with Slayer shirts on, like, oh, we're metalheads, and no, it's okay. But like to see it like at a deeper level of like a more underground band, of someone, if a dude was wearing a Spawn of Possession shirt at fucking Safeway, I'd be like, dude,
I'd run to him. I would sprint across if I was in the produce section and he was in the frozen aisle on the other side of the grocery store. Dude, I'm putting my basket
just
down.
a high five, at
whatever's
least a
in
high
it,
five.
dude.
Yeah.
We just I gotta let you know we're in the same bubble, dude.
That's what needs to happen.
We
is
converge
like,
in public at the same time. It's so
what if
rare.
there was like some big like yeah he's on
I would chase you around the
wouldn't,
grocery
Chris.
store,
Come on.
Chris, dude. You're gonna fucking security is gonna stop me from getting to you, dude.
yeah.
If someone had a Dreamer shirt on, you'd be like, "Fuck that guy, dude. I don't trust that guy at all."
It'd be funny if there was like a fancy clothing line like the Gap or something, and they started like putting like death metal logos on things.
Oh, they have. I mean, I remember seeing
Really?
walking by not a Volcom, but what's Etnies or one of those like bro shops, but they took over the Black Dark Throne. It was just Dark Throne shit everywhere, but it was like skater brands with Dark Throne, the same logo.
They rip it off. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you see like celebrities. Some celebrities will wear like Cannibal Corpse, like a Travis Barker.
No,
one
I
of the
mean like the
Kardashians.
actual. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they're wearing Cannibal Corpse. You're like, oh my god.
Well, the
I'm like
skate
mad.
companies have been doing that forever, and it was always kind of cheesy, like ripping off Iron Maiden and logo, all that stuff. Like, it was like funny, but it was like, whatever. But it wasn't like cool. It wasn't like, oh, that's so cool. Like,
Oh, that's right.
but like,
dude.
but
Yeah, that was.
oh my god, that
I thought that was fake. I thought that was like, I was like, oh, it's a funny, ironic picture because of his comments. And
So
then and then I was like searching Google. I'm like, oh, dude, there's like 9 angles of him wearing that.
Well,
And then I was
what
like,
it is the like one of the most popular artists of our day, but he's also the biggest troll. Like that's the trolliest move you could do.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to make us.
position.
It's people like they're kind of losing it and they're just making a splash. And I don't think even like for that. That's such a random thing that people are gonna know.
Well,
what the
that's
fuck
not
that
ramentum
is.
after his Jew and Hitler comments, dude.
Oh, I know. I would just said his
doubling
comment.
down
You
on
have
that
to
one.
say it out loud. But hopefully
We
this
can't say it out
hopefully
loud?
hopefully it stays up. But
You bring up his shit. and we're not
Instagram.
gonna
I'm
say it
sorry.
out loud?
Instagram. I'm sorry.
right.
Instagram. Don't take us down.
Out of the weeds. Take us out of the weeds.
So when
You
did
guys
you
brought 'em up,
find
dude.
drumsticks in the wild?
In the wild. Yeah. Oh no, that's good. I was gonna say though, when you meet a metalhead in public with like a sick shirt,
Yeah.
I am a huge black metal guy. You do not
Yeah.
want to do it with black metal guys. They're like usually like if they have like a battle jacket on, don't approach them.
You're like
Don't
walk
do
up, just be like, "Fuck, that band sucks." Like find one song on there and just say it sucks.
Yeah, they might actually kill you.
or be your best friend.
Yeah. Oh man.
I mean, to me, if you're wearing a vest, it's actually against the OG's, mentality.
Right. It is. It's very like
the cult mentality of the whole thing. What black metal is like. You go back to what the foundations were built on. Wearing patches and it's all
right.
As soon as that happens, it's not what it was.
Right, exactly.
I mean, also with Bertram, it's kind of weird with the National Socialistic shit.
I know, yeah, they are. No, definitely. That's why I was surprised that he actually wore it. But there was like a weird urge for me in the last 6 months to make a battle vest. I just had this it was like a midlife crisis. Trevor Black Dahlia RIP, but like he had a sick one, and I was like, fuck, dude, you're making those look cool, Trevor. I might have to try to. I wonder what mine would look like. It's kind of like a project when you're a kid making, putting patches on things and what it represents to you. And because like you always see like battle vests nowadays, when I see them, there's always just like 15 bands, and I'm like, bro, you put that on your shirt? That's the one you got, and you're like Metallica, Iron Maiden. It's like you're doing like the most like rich bands in the world, like all over your vest. I'm like, all right, dude. Well, they don't need any promotion, so
you're at a death metal show, dude. I don't care if you're into Metallica, dude.
Yeah,
I know. Exodus is
like
cool.
we all respect it. We all respect it
because we're in the Bay.
Yeah. We all respect it though. We all respect Slayer and all those things from like our old school like roots, but we're not gonna be like, dude, just like right here, like huge. Like we're not gonna be like Iron Maiden, like walking just like, all right, dude, you ever heard of them? It's like, yeah, they've sold 57 million albums.
But that's actually us being kind of assholes and egotistical too, because what if Metallica still is like the life-changing thing to that guy,
I mean, they're still on the charts.
I'm like, you need to have more underground patches for me to sign off on your battle vest.
Joel's getting kind of sinister over here.
Real gatekeepy.
Joel, he doesn't even have a vest yet. He's already getting all.
I know. I'm like, I already have vest overconfidence.
He's like
vest rage.
Vest rage.
Hashtag vest rage, dude. Is that a new hashtag?
I'm gonna.
I think
for
it
Christmas,
is,
for Joel's birthday, I'm ordering a Metallica battle vest for you, dude.
Dude, I will wear it everywhere. I'll wear it to the most underground death metal shows. Just a load one, just like walking around with like load.
All right. We're officially so far into the weeds. I don't even remember where we fucking left off, guys. I don't know where we were at.
Santa Fe playing drums, jazz drummer teacher.
It wasn't. That's
jazz drummer teacher. Wasn't jazz drummer teacher?
All of the above. Yes, jazz. I had it. Yeah, Dave Brady. That was where we nailed it.
Boom.
Kingly.
We're back in, guys.
Yeah. Where were we? We were cool. Oh yes, validation of like one of those like higher up dudes. Fucking what was it? Yeah, we're talking about having like the validation of like one of those the elders of our of our race respecting.
And I just realized it was me who took us out of that. Sorry, guys.
We're good. No, dude, it's fun. The ride is what counts, man.
Sure.
But yeah, just getting in all that kind of stuff. Let's see, where how can I segue this? What was I doing?
Well, I'll ask you another question. So, all right, Santa Fe. How long were you in Santa Fe before you moved out of there?
I moved out of Santa Fe when I was 18 to go to college in Minnesota.
Okay, so you were there. Okay, so we're gonna back it up then. Because,
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah. You were there for 8 years. You got the lessons. Mom got you the kit.
Right.
Now, what was your driving force at the time? What was the carrot on the stick? You listen to a band that you're just like, I gotta sound like this dude, and this is my goal to play this song.
Yeah. Nile.
Yeah.
Nice.
I heard.
That's a big carrot, dude.
Yeah, it was a big carrot. I got, like every other fucking drummer, I got his metal drumming DVD when it came out. And I was like, this is
really so like no like ease into the death metal. It was just like, I got a kit, now I'm gonna play Nile. Like
no, I had started playing, like I tried learning, like I thought like Lamb of God was drum parts were really sick and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
And I really like Lamb of God. And my other, actually I credit my I guess, cleanliness as a player to learning to play Fear Factory songs.
Nice.
And I'm still a huge Fear Factory fan.
Me too. Me too. Oh yeah.
Me too.
So because it's all rhythm, there's like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, Fear Factory was like a lot of what I started getting like interested in the foot stuff, and then I heard Decapitated and Meshuggah around the same time, and then I didn't even get into Nile. I just got George's DVD because I saw a clip of it on the internet, and I was like, this dude's ridiculous. And then I got obsessed with Nile after that. And I was like, that's what I want to do. Like the crazy kick drums. Even my grandpa watched a video. He was like visiting us when I had that DVD, and I was just in the den with my practice pads watching that. And he's like, my grandpa was like a more open dude. He was like, what the hell is that? And he was just like doing one of his crazy, like pushing like the rhythm tempo tables from like 200 to 280.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wait, Grandpa, he's going to do 280. You have to see 280. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. And
Dude, I did the same exact thing in my college dorm room, like the basement. I like did a showing. I like put that George Coley's DVD in, and I'm like, to my like new college friends, I'm like, watch. And like they were like, okay, this is cool, but they were let's go drink or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna stay.
I'm gonna watch this.
I'm gonna stay. Yeah. But yeah, dude, that was iconic. I have my signed copy still, and I brought a copy of Annihilation to George at his clinic last year, and he like signed it. So I got like 2 signed George Coley's. Cool. It really makes sense that you would get in through the same route as me. That was like all I cared about doing at the time.
Same.
And Casey was my first music teacher, and I was just like, I want to learn Decrepit Birth and Nile. So
yeah, dude, Decrepit Birth's hard as fuck. But yeah, it was that was really it. It was Nile, and then but when I was a senior in high school, I got into black metal, and I was always into every kind of metal. I was never elitist ever. I was always into like, I really liked death metal. I loved black metal. I loved deathcore. I loved metalcore, and like I learned quickly that I couldn't say which bands I was into around certain people. I could just, and I had like different friend groups. I was into like the gent thing when that started. I was into all that stuff, and I had like my death metal friend group, my black metal friend group, my like genty boys over here, and like it was really funny. It was just a weird thing to me, but I was really intrigued with like the black metal stuff. The guys, I think they are the best at blast beats.
Okay, so it was more like a rhythmic thing. That was more kind of.
I heard like Frost from 1349.
Yeah,
and I was like, what? He's like, not only is he blasting this fast, his stick height is like almost like this.
And big. The duration too, right? The duration of them like hitting, like just going forever, like
ever.
Yeah.
Like death metal has that, like it's more foot. A lot of it's more foot oriented, more in the like brutal death metal stuff. And but like the black metal, I was just like, their hands. How do they? Dominator. Thank you. Yeah, Dominator, and also fucking. I think the best right now is Jaloma, who's in Dark Funeral right now, or is he even doing that dude's?
Oh, dude, literally. I saw them recently, and I was blown away.
That dude
is such aggressive drum. I was like, Jesus Christ!
I literally think he has the best hands on the planet right now.
Damn, that's awesome.
Who was that again? Jaloma. I don't know how you actually say his name. It's like Jaloma. I don't know. He's literally the craziest blaster.
Here we go. Jane.
Oh, sorry.
Yana. Yeah, Yana. Okay.
Yana. Yeah.
Literally.
Okay, and I'm gonna just throw this out here. I'm hoping that Ian can help me out if you guys can't, or maybe Matt. I don't know if Dode Heemsgard or Dod. So a Umbra Omega. That out, not the newest one, but the one right before that. It's a 6-track, over an hour album, and the drummer on that album, up until that point, I don't even remember finding any other thing about this dude, but his performance on that album really, really impressed me in how hard and fast that dude plays too. And I'm hoping that dude, I'm literally just bringing this up just to find out if that dude has been involved in anything else besides that band since that release. Chat or Matt or
Where's Krispy Kreme?
Cat or Dog or anybody come in and help me out.
I just looked him up on Metal Archives, and he only has one other credit, and it's the band Grand Alchemist, and it's from 2012, which is before the 2015 record you just talked about. So nothing else except
isn't that wild?
Live drums for Blood Red Throne and Code. I don't know. So nothing else.
If you hear this album, you would think that this dude should have been sought after by 20 different bands after this record came out, dude. And he hasn't done anything. I don't even know his name. I can't remember his name.
I have only listened to the band once. If I'm not mistaken it, Chris introduced it to me. Hi, Chris, in the chat. And I was night driving on tour, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, you guys were just talking black metal and drumming, and that literally sparked my memory of this dude, and I'm like, what a performer, and such little to show for his abilities.
Yeah, there's sadly so many instances of that in just the world. To me, I don't know, because the amount of like talent that people are unaware of is just, I don't know. It's something that used to like actually stress me out growing up, because my dad would always tell me, he's like, "Do you know how many brilliant people there are in the world that nobody's ever going to know?" And I was like, "Why are you trying to kill the mood right now?" That is harsh.
We're talking about nihility. That is nihilism in the sense that like a small percentage of all the greats are going to come into your radar, and then the rest are just going to fall into the wake, you know?
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's kind of beautiful in a sense to know that people like us who are constantly striving to discover all these artists that would pertain to our specific interests, to know that the well is so deep that I'll never get my fill. It's actually kind of beautiful, dude. And that's just positive thinking.
I mean, if you want to go down to like what the kind of like the anxiety driven, what Matt's kind of talking about, like think about like if what members of what bands were living in different cities and what would have become of the music of different members were living at different spots at a certain time, and then this singer was over here and this drummer was over here and this guitar and they all were like in a small place. Like what kind of music would you hear? My brain goes, I'm a chronic overthinker.
Let's
but
go
I think about stuff like
and
that.
just think Infinity, dude. In Infinity, if that's real, I'm the vocalist of Zenith Passage, or Matt is the vocalist of Zenith.
That's what I'm saying.
And
but I mean, like, not Infinity, but in McKinney.
It's Boover. Boover's here.
Infinity.
Boover. How do you, Justin? How do you pronounce the name, the screen name? I just say Bover.
It's Boover.
Oh, Boover. But
yeah, it's
wouldn't
Boover.
Be 2 O's if it's Boover?
He's got to elaborate on it. I still don't. He gave me an explanation for it once. I actually don't remember.
That'd be nice. It sounds like something. It actually looks kind of black metal. Like the name kind of looks a little. Oh, that's right, Boover. I think more like Beaver. No, I'm just kidding. No, Boover. But it seems like one of those words. It's kind of
It looks like a
dumbass nickname I got in high school. Okay, Jesus, that's gonna be cooler than that. That was gonna be like some old school. I'm just kidding. I love you, Justin. A deep cut from CKY2K. Okay.
Oh shit, dude! Let's hear that now, because I have that on DVD still, dude.
He's running with Beaver. So I'm just kidding.
Over.
I thought it was like brar. I thought it was like a French word or something, and I was like, shit. I'm just Yeah, bruv.
Bruv.
I was like, I'm not intelligent enough to decipher this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and thumbs up and.
Dude, all right. Justin's gonna send us the link, dude. We're gonna have to watch the little clip when he sends it.
Okay, for sure we will. But back on the story though, so black metal. That's I mean, so it seems like so far to me that you've kind of been percussion oriented, and different kinds of styles of percussion have intrigued you. It's not like it wasn't like, oh, I just started wanting to wear makeup one day and be black metal. I was like, no, I appreciate what they're doing, and you know, the endurance and a lot of the things they do that like a lot of people overlook with black metal. So from there, like where did you move on from that?
So the summer between high school and college, which I consider to be like one of my favorite summers ever, even though it's kind of like moody, you're like, ooh, I'm moving away from my family for the first time, whatever. I was getting real into black metal, but I was also really into dark ambient music.
Okay.
So just like dark atmospheric stuff. Like
for studying, was it a study thing?
It was literally, I would just like fall asleep to it, or I would go for like nighttime walks listening to it, or like just real existential kind of stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
And because I felt there was do you guys remember that black metal documentary Until the Light Takes Us?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The couch stabbing.
Yeah. What was that? Was that fucking?
Was that Frost?
That's Frost. Yeah, it's Frost.
Yeah, Frost.
But there's a piece. I hadn't really gotten into black metal yet, but I had seen in the middle of that. There's actually a Burzum piece, one of the Burzum pieces that he played on one of his Casio keyboard things.
Yeah.
Like Dungeon Synth, basically the beginning of Dungeon Synth. And I heard that, and I was like, "Oh my god, I get black metal."
Yeah,
it makes total sense to me now. And
I really loved finding out that harmony choring was
used it for Gummo,
black metal.
Yeah, Gummo, that's right.
Documentary. Yeah, and knowing that with Gummo and all the soundtrack to that album, I knew he was into. I didn't know. You know, I was introduced to that movie before I was well versed in extreme metal in general.
Right.
It literally was before my deep dive into death metal and extreme metal and all that stuff. So that didn't click with me, but to find that and see that it folds back into like all the potent stuff that happened with me in watching film and extreme film. Maybe extreme film came definitely earlier before extreme music. Right. And knowing that dude literally would do art exhibits where he's dancing to death metal in corpse paint, and you're like, wait, this is the dude that wrote Kids when he was 18.
Yeah.
You know, directed and wrote Gummo and all these other films too, Spring Breakers.
Yeah,
and
Trash Humpers.
Yeah, Trash Humpers.
Shit like that.
And yeah, dude, and taking all these extreme chances with his art as film at such a young age, and to see that he was also into that, you know, outsider new development, you know, per se, that was happening in the black metal scene too. It totally makes sense that it would link up now that I have gathered all that information in my fucking digging throughout the years, you know. But it totally makes sense.
Yeah, it is. Gummo in particular was one of those.
Dude, it's still disturbing, but at the same time, it's brilliant, you know.
Oh yeah, it's so good. I actually have it on DVD. It's one of my proudest ownings.
Oh, dude, I have my don't even get me started on it. I'm gonna start going back into the weeds. You guys can
I know Matt is a film guy, so I was gonna say this isn't really Matt. Weeds. This falls within the bounds here. So
yeah, it is my actual biggest passion with music, equal if not bigger.
Well, let's save maybe for a little more film talk.
Yeah.
Because I know everybody else probably will hate it if I keep going on a film thing with you, dude. So go back onto your timeline. Now let's talk about the learning or being influenced to play because of Nile. Did you get into that?
Yeah, I got a little bit into that. I was that was the main thing. I was telling my fucking grandpa, I had that DVD from George and I was obsessed with it. So that was like really I was like, I got to do that. Like the feet thing. That's fast feet. That's the coolest thing in the world. And I got really obsessed with that. And I've learned on like heel down on some DW 5000s and
what was the feeling when you start to see, oh shit, I can do this?
Let's see, what was the first? It's the best feeling. It's like when you in any aspect of life, like effort followed by an achievement, because there's that sense of the fulfillment that comes from that, I think is like the modeling of like human DNA that makes humans willing to exist. I don't think.
Yes, most definitely, dude.
So, because like without that model, like I think the human mind would just like fall into complete negativity and just be like, "What's the point?"
There was nothing to strive for. Yeah, there's nothing to like we were just talking about the carrot. The carrot needs to be there. We achieve it, but as soon as we achieve it, there's another
new goal,
more delicious looking, colorful carrot right after that. Yeah. But getting the carrot is such. Oh shit, dude! It's the recharging of the battery that takes you to the next step. You hit your or you're playing a video game. You're playing Super Mario Brothers, and you hit that one. What are those spots called in the video game? Marker or whatever that checkpoint. There you go.
Save point.
You hit the checkpoint, and then after that checkpoint, no matter when you start again, you're still at that checkpoint because you've achieved that length of the journey. And so you hit that first checkpoint. Oh shit, I can double bass. Now, when's the first blast speed, dude?
Right. Yeah, that was the key. And I know Joseph can relate to this because like when you start, for me, I was like my first checkpoint was like 180 BPM. And then it became like, ooh, 190. Look at me. And then it was like 200 was like a big one. That was the day. And that's like I feel like death metal drummers, it's like the ranking of BPMs. I didn't start blasting until later though. I really was like focused on just double bass.
Grooving.
Yeah, I was really into like playing along to like a lot of like the older like Asley Dying stuff and
nice.
Yeah, because it was just a lot of double bass stuff, and
what was that first record? Frail
Words Collapse. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
that was a jam. I love that record.
Yeah, I had
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, that first song had that big double bass run, and it was like just constant. I was like, that's the coolest shit I'd ever heard. So
there are songs you can start at that are way lower though. Like I remember "Death and Fire" by Amon Amarth.
Oh yeah,
being like a super basic one because it just goes for like 4 bars and then it like turns off and then it goes back on. But it's only at like 120, so it's like. But like that would be my recommendation if anyone wanted to start like from scratch learning double bass and they knew like. If you just bought your double bass pedal, like try that song or something. Like 180 is still, months away. So
yeah, definitely. That was the first striving point. I think the Nothing Left by Asley Dying was the song. I was like 184, and once I could do that, I was like, I'm a drummer. I was so.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I was very validated,
dude.
So what about Casey?
I
want to get Casey in on the metal BPM benchmarks.
Yeah.
What was your talk about what your song was, Casey? Where you first was first digga digga da digga.
Oh yeah. Digga digga yeah. Yeah, for me it was like I was like all stoked on like the Axis pedals when they came out I was in high school and it was like the 90s, late 90s, and I was like into Tool at the time. So like I kind of like was into like different stuff and like grunge and industrial and like all that kind of stuff. But I kind of like came around to like it was like there was like a period where I was like all about Rush and Tool, like this kind of like, and it was like around, I was like 16, something like that. And I like, that's when I got a drum set. So I was like, that's like when I got really into playing drums. I like bought that drum set like you know, that year for my birthday and all this kind of stuff. And anyways, and so yeah, I got like I heard somewhere that like Danny Carey was like basically he had the Axis pedal or something like that. And yeah, and
I'm giggling real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Casey. Ricky thinks your pad's well lit, bro.
I know, I saw that earlier.
The lighting is so good in that
it's
place.
Beautiful. I know.
I mean, like
the rent ain't cheap, man.
Yeah, he's in Tahoe just for the little while, you know, at that cabin or whatever he's at.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's the electric cabin.
No, back to the drum stuff because
anyways, the point is that like I like really it was actually I was like super inspired by like the pedals, like Axis pedals, like really early on. Like it was like when they were first, it was like 97, 98, 99, something around that time. And I like read that like they're a thing, like somehow like Danny Carey used them like at some point or something like that. And so I was like, oh, like want to get those. And so like I got some at Guitar Center and I remember like bringing those back to like at home and I wasn't even into playing death metal yet, like at all. Like I was just kind of like interested in these pedals and I like thought they were cool and like the design. I remember just like playing like instantly just being like and there was like a double bass like setup. I got like the whole like the slave unit thing that goes with it, whatever they call it. And it was just like I was like, whoa, I can like play like way faster than I could on the chain drive like pedals and stuff. So that was like, and then like I don't know, it's weird. Like I like liked like I was into Tool and that kind of stuff, but I wasn't like really playing Tool songs and trying to like play. I played parts of it and like jam. I played Rush songs and stuff, but I like joined a band that wanted a like a death metal drummer, and I wasn't really playing that stuff, but they're like, oh, you got, and I got these Axis pedals, and they're like, oh, well, we can like, and so yeah, so like that's where, yeah, and so these guys were a couple years older. They were like out of high school, you know, and they were like, you know, in the long sleeve Cannibal shirts and shit, and they were like these dudes. And we had this band Zingaya, whatever, that was like our
yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty fun. And David played with us too for like a minute. David was but we used to jam, and that's where we met Diego and from Discourage. We practiced at the same place as Discourage.
Oh gee.
But even back then, man, like we were trying like I like different pedals, but yeah, I would like I got triggers.
Well, I was gonna say before Access, what was like the top shelf shit before
they
came on?
I mean, those are heavier. Like, I mean, I guess Pearl, like Eliminators or something.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, I had DWs too. I never had. I mean, now I have Eliminators.
DWs, that's the ones that I remember.
Yeah,
they're very clunky. They're very big. They're smooth, but they're really heavy.
That's in the spring. Action.
It's like me, dude. I'm really smooth, but like heavy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, but it basically like just to stop my story here is basically like I went from like playing like King Crimson and Tool and Rush to like, oh, I'm in this death metal band now. They want me to play like, they're like showing me all these. Okay, now we're all listening to all the shit, you know, stuff, all that stuff, you know. And I was just like, okay, and then we're like experimenting with like we would put the mics in the bass drums and like turn up the high end super loud, try to emulate triggers like in the jam room, and then it was like got the triggers and we were doing that, and I had like a weird offshoot bass drum that was like, and then I eventually got two, and then anyways, yeah, but it's just like all that shit was just
evolution though. It's like learning and understanding and then moving on from there.
Yeah. So that was my whole story. Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
I guess it's finding, as a drummer specifically, you're finding the best version of extending your limbs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
how did that go? But how did that go for you? Like for Matt, like how did you like? What was your progression going from like understanding from, you know, like going from whatever like DW 9000s, Iron Cobras, whatever, to slowly going to where you're at now?
I remember, so I went to college and I was playing. I had my first pair of pedals. I got like one of those basic like PDP things with my first kit. It was just a single pedal. And then I asked my parents for a double bass drum pedal for Christmas when I was in high school. And they got me a DW 5000. I was like, whoa, this is way nicer than I expected. And it was because it's a nice pedal.
Right.
And I played on those for a good few years. And then, but once I was in college, I was really into the death metal thing. And Axis is really responsible because the amount of like boutique metal drummer pedals out there now. It's kind of crazy. I don't even know them all anymore. But like I saw Axis mainly because of George in his DVD, and I remember those. But I actually didn't end up getting Axis. I ended up buying Tricks, and I've had the same pair of Tricks for almost like 11 years now, 12 years.
Nice.
And they've never ever broken. But that being said, I am actually switching. I just got my first pair of Axis pedals. I'm switching now.
Nice.
So what made you want to switch,
cool,
even
dude.
though the other situation?
Honestly, Zed just persisted enough on me to get the Axis stuff. He's such a sweet dude, and I will say the Axis, I think they're so quick. There's nothing. I don't think. It sounds like I'm not like saying because I'm like an Axis artist. I'm literally just like I literally think they're the fastest pedals on the planet. So
well, some of the fastest drummers I've ever
Pretty
met
awesome.
in my life have been endorsing that product.
They have been like the coolest people like I've ever like. I can't even believe I can even still say like I endorse them like or whatever. Like I remember like Mike Hamilton got me like introduced to them like way back in the day, and then I went to the factory and I met them, and like they had the dog and stuff there, and Karen and everybody. That's super cool.
Yeah.
And like I got a tour of the place and everything, and like dude, like but like over the years, like I've just like hit them back. Hey, I need to get these repaired, and like yeah, you used to like endorse you guys, and I just teach music now and stuff, and they're like, oh that still counts, like that's totally cool, like and just send us. And they like rebuilt my pedals like years ago, and like incredible, like dude. It was like, and I was like, can I get some of the features of like the Roddy pedal with some of the features of, the Calais pedal? And they were just like, totally fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Anything. And just like, it was so like affordable. Like I was just like, oh my God, dude, I love that company. Like,
yeah, they're so cool.
So cool, dude. Yeah. So I don't know.
So
all love to them.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about, again, we keep going forward, and that's totally fine. Dude, this is Cali Death Podcast. We're 166 episodes, and we're gonna fucking go wherever this thing takes us, dude. But I still want to know about when you started jamming with other humans.
Other humans. I didn't play my first show till just over 10 years ago.
Wow.
So one thing about me, I'm not somebody who shows anybody like what I'm doing until I believe that I'm good enough to do it. Like I'll practice in the dark for years, and then I'll just like come out and be like, all right, I think I'm ready to have people see what I've been doing.
And then you'll fucking nail it.
Yeah. So I started, I played I was in college in Minnesota. I went to actually a little music school called McNally Smith. RIP, does not exist anymore. But I played like I had like this little, I don't even know what you would call it. It was like a metal band that was like a cross between like power metal and metalcore, and even like
all students of that spot.
No, they were actually, one of them was a student, and then he just knew some people outside of the school, and he's
some townies.
Yeah, some townies, pretty much. And but then I ended up joining like a more of a gentler band called By the Thousands, which they still go on over there. But they were like the one of their members was actually in that first band with me, and he was like, come play in my band. And I was like, okay. And I just started playing. Typical drummer who could do like double bass. I started getting asked to play in a lot of bands really fast, and it kind of overwhelmed me. I think I was like in 5 local bands at once, kind of thing. Typical local drummer kind of thing.
Right.
And I was doing
typical
that for
drummer, not even local.
Typical drummer. Yeah, just drummer, just like in too many fucking bands.
We need you guys down here, dude. Do you dig deep into the underground, dude? We need
actually
I excel through.
Hit me up if you're a drummer watching. I have multiple like people looking for drummers that I can't fulfill. I can refer you to gigs and shit. So always let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I played lots of local shows all the time, and the scene in Minnesota was very much like you have to sell like tickets and you can play on the show kind of thing. So we got real good at doing that. So we got to play some sick tours. And then there's one show that kind of changed it all for me. I was playing for 2 bands opening up the show at Skyway Theater for the Faceless, and that was when Chasen was in the Faceless.
Oh, nice.
Dude, shout out Chasen.
Yeah, Chasen.
I'd
I
love
owe
to talk
the
to him
world
again,
to that
dude.
man. He's the man.
He's a rad dude.
Fucking
We've
legend.
had him on the show, and actually, that's a part 2 that I've been thinking about in recent times that I'd like to get Chasen back on and see.
Oh,
He's,
yeah.
he's an insane drummer, dude. Like
He's
I'm not a
bonkers.
drummer, so I literally have to go and like why do people respect this guy so much? And I'll go watch the videos and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. It was a funny video real quick of Chasen in Sacramento. My buddy Mitch was out there. He plays in a bunch of local bands out there, and I remember there was a picture of it was like Chasen playing, and then like they go over to Mitch, and he's just all like, "What the fuck, fuck you!" And I was like seeing him like just completely like it was like a natural, just organic. He's like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, so he's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He keeps chasing that dream, dude, and he keeps achieving it, dude.
Yeah.
Well, now he's playing with the Brand of Sacrifice and stuff too,
Yeah.
right? Because I know that. Yeah, that's cool. Because Mike Caputo
Yeah.
was playing with them last time when they came through here, and I have a like it's part of my like merch thing I wear. Is they're like tie dye thing, so they sweatshirts. They were awesome. They're great, and that's really cool to see him moving up because that guy talent needs to move up. Talent needs to move up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's so sick. He's so sick.
Yeah, he's so sick. Yeah.
Deathcore stealing all the death metal drummers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people watched and listened.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was like more,
it's how you get a promotion. I mean, how else are you gonna?
Yeah, that's a promotion now. It's like I don't want to be a manager, but it's like, well, dude, you want more money? You have to be a manager now. It's like,
I got promoted to a metalcore or a deathcore.
But I have mad respect for Chasen and Mike and all those dudes. Doesn't matter who they're playing for, they make the show. So
always,
definitely,
so good. But yeah, I do. Chasen is like literally the reason I have most any of the opportunities I've ever got because he saw me play that show when I was opening for him, and he was like, "You should do something else." I was like, "Okay," and so I started throwing my name out to people, and
nice.
And I filled in. It's my first. He actually. My first gig he got me was filling in for this band. You guys, I'm sure, know Abiotic from Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah. You've heard me those guys. Yeah.
Well, they were commenting, right?
Shout out John.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, John.
Oh yeah. Of course. Yeah.
John on.
Yeah, we had him on. Yeah.
John's killing it in the social streams.
Yeah,
he does those remix videos where he'll throw some riffs over other viral videos and
I just did it again.
It's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
John's sick at that, dude. If you guys go check out John Abiotic's page on Instagram.
Oh, he does the one where it's like a freak out, and
he does like the remixes with his own riffs.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, dude.
That's a fun little angle. It's like sitting at home, especially for like being a death metal person, like or a person that's in a certain style of music. It's like find a fun thing to make. I don't know if he's making money, but it seems like he should be
every day, dude. So shout out to John.
Yeah, totally. He's sitting. His face always cracks me up.
I love it.
Before like a thing starts, he's just like sitting there, like, and then he waits for like the heavy part.
And I'm waiting for it every time.
Yeah, I know. It's so good. Anyways, but yeah, that's cool. Chasen, I love the other drummers seeing the talent and being like, all right, well, it's kind of like what Joseph was just saying. It's like, all right, well, people are hitting me up all the time. There's this fucking dude I know that could easily do it. I don't have, 2 brains and 2 bodies and 9 arms. So I need someone else. If someone else wants to take this gig, take it. And it's been from my whole life of like, Dan Kenny doing, me and Dan Kenny got approached to do Animosity at the same time. And I was like, no. And he's like, yes. And then he went to Suicide Silence, after that. It's like the one little chance that you can take, the little like leapfrog thing you can do if you're not starting from the fucking ground level up, and you just want to play music. That's a great fucking avenue because it's really hard for bands to find sustainable musicians that want to play, and tour constantly, and families.
Well, I'm glad you didn't say
things like
yes to Animosity, dude, because you wouldn't have been a host on Cali Death.
I wonder what
Podcast.
it's one of those. It's one of those like variables. Like, what if I remember like
I know
like
it would have changed your life. Your life would have been totally different. We would have still been friends.
yeah.
But we wouldn't be as close as we were, probably.
I still remember the question. It was like on the back stairs of the Thunderdome, and I was like, "Nope." I was like, "Unique leader for life." I was like, and Dan's like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll hit you up. I'll hit you up." And I was like, "Fuck that, dude." I mean, even though I love Animosity, but I was like, "Dude, fucking unique leader." I got like, I'm in my gang now because it felt gangy when we were kids. It was kind of like you were in a gang. You know, it wasn't like
definitely.
you couldn't
it
just
was like
you can't just
well,
walk out of here.
the merch kind of like the way it was designed.
I know. And like people wearing like the unique leader sweatshirts, like the tough dudes wearing the unique leader thing with the unique leader on the arm. You're just like,
it was totally
dude. Like that's
it was
hard.
it was our fucking vests, but we just didn't have to iron on patches.
Yeah, it was the best.
It was like the motorcycle.
We bought it already ready.
Yeah.
We bought ready-made fucking vests, dude.
That's total. I mean, yeah, created by a generation before us, and then we see a lot of that in in metal and stuff, like the generations and the torch getting passed and stuff, and Battleforge Carfy. But so no, Mac. So going from there, like, so Chasen started introducing the people, and how did that go? Like, tell me your trajectory from there.
Yeah, he introduced. I did a tour with Abiotic, but he also referred me to Aegaeon, who I'm still in today, and that's my main thing. It was fun because I was asked to fill in for them, and I remember waking up to that text, freaking out because at the time they were my absolute favorite band in the world. So I was like,
yeah.
It's a weird, surreal kind of thing. It's like one of the coolest feelings in the world. Few people
most definitely.
It's weird. I know Justin can actually relate to that with like the Faceless and stuff like that.
I'm at Gilbert's house right now. He could relate to it. He's playing fucking Savior now, dude. It's crazy. So that's got to be a fucking sick feeling.
It is a sick feeling, and fortunately for me with Aegaeon, they say never meet your idols, but I met these guys, and I was like, new family.
Friends.
Yeah. You're like, why? Why not meet my idol?
And I was like, no wonder we like all the same. I like their music so much because like I walk into the bassist's living room and I see all these like crazy like art film posters, and I'm like, oh, I love all of these movies. You guys are like the same people. And like they're
I'm gonna take it away from you just again. Sorry, dude, but you're making me think of this thing where it's such a prominent thought that I've had in my mind about what we do and what we're involved in. Or, I mean, I'm just fucking podcaster now, but it literally is a bubble of culture that we've created to where we weeded out that we made it to where meeting your heroes is actually more of a good thing than not.
Right.
It's rare.
There's a higher rate of success in meeting people in death metal where they're good people. Right. When you're like, fuck yeah, let's hang out, rather than like meeting. And I'm wearing Chiefs over like Taylor Swift, which I don't never want to meet. But it's like it's one of those people that like of course you're insanely famous. It's ridiculous. We hold people on pedestals.
We've set up unspoken kind of barrier that people really need to get through in order to know that they're like really down. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like becoming a politician. You gotta sign a lot of paperwork and answer a lot of questions before you actually get in the real game. Right. And death metal is the same way, but it is built on genuine aspects of the human, like it really is just our intention and our goal that we wear it. Like I was just talking to Casey this week, dude. Odious Mortem is a project that wears its heart on its sleeve, and I think that death metal really does that too. Like on our vests, we're wearing our sleeve patch, our heart patches on our fucking vests, dude.
Totally, dude.
it's such a gummy emo type thing to say, but it actually is true about what we're doing and why we do this show every single week is because there is this like way more real aspect of humans in this little bubble that we've been a part of and helped create or helped.
So right on.
You guys just want me to stop talking. That's what
I don't know. We're talking about ourselves too much. Let's talk about
Dude,
let's
I didn't talk about anybody else except for all of us right there.
It was all of us. We're all
oh shit! I just hit remove. I'm sorry. I went to try to go full screen for you.
What did Joel do?
All right, I'm gonna shut up for the next 10 minutes, guys.
Oh, see,
No,
it's
it's
now. It's all sad.
I believe
that what I just said was true about all 5 of you guys. So I
know. We were in the middle
of fucking chat. There was zero bullshit in what I just said. All right.
There's no.
No, I'm not saying that. I just want to hear about about it. What do you think, Matt?
What do you think? I think I completely with Anthony. I actually agree with you. Even like with the stuff you said earlier. With I am you. I've been you. I believe like that is how the universe works. Is like God exploring the universe through different personalities. So like our soul is the same oneness. So I've lived as every human being has lived, as every living thing in the history of living things.
Right.
As the same consciousness. I'm like one of those. Yeah, dude.
Isn't that cool to think that way though? Like all possibilities are not only there, but we've achieved them at some point throughout this infinite universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cali Death Podcast has an infinite amount of episodes where we talk to an infinite amount of people, you know?
Yeah, dude.
It's fucking rad.
Yeah, dude. That's the beauty of everything, dude. Everything's one.
Yes, dude.
Now,
how do we put that in our music?
Spend some time
how do we put that in our music, though?
How do
you take that and you apply that to your drumming? Do you think like, all right, I'm gonna be the fucking best Matt Paulazzo in this realm that I could possibly be?
Yeah, and that was a big transition. A lot of the beginning of my mid-20s and then the second half of my 20s was much more of it was a weird existential kind of thing for me. I had a lot of it has to do with like an obsession with filmmaking, but I also got into like it was like my super stoner phase, psychedelics, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, what is Matt? What do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Who is the person I've dreamt of being since I was a little boy?
Right.
And drumming is, I believe, this first step of me becoming me. And it is always going to be a part of my life. And I will be honest, over the past several years, it hasn't been as much of a focus in my life. Even when COVID started, I actually quit playing for almost a year.
Damn.
Wow.
And it was I overthink everything. It was like an overhurdle because I wanted to get into filmmaking and like sound design and composing. So I believed that I had to like stop playing drums basically, which is total bullshit, by the way. You don't have to do that. I just ended up making myself really depressed for a while.
Shit.
But hey, that's how we try shit. We like swing for the fence, be like, well, that was
bro.
Yeah, that was like I swung way in the wrong direction there, and then you bring it back and you recentered. And ever since I've been like recentering myself and agreeing to do drumming stuff like that, all the other stuff that I want to do is much more
achievable.
Also, yeah, it's much more achievable. So
that's rad, dude. So, and now that you've said that, I'm sorry, I'm going to take it away from your drumming for a little bit. Okay. You mentioned film. I want to know what other ways you were getting creative that's pulling. You're saying that drumming's not the center point. How are you getting creative? Is it with film, art, otherwise?
I'm really trying to combine. So obviously metal is like one of the biggest aspects of my life, and it always has been. So I really want to figure out with Aegaeon, what I've been working on is trying to figure out how to merge music and cinema in a way that's like unusual. So I'm really intrigued by synthesizers and sound design. So those are my other obsession. I don't know why I get the most expensive fucking hobbies: drums, synthesizers. I mean, we all know
like Moog stuff or what?
Moog, yeah, I have a
synthesizers, their whole thing. Yeah.
I have an Oberheim and a Roland Juno from the 80s. I love that thing.
Nice. those the
yeah. So but like I was really, I don't know, I was getting into obsessed with like movies and then seeing like artsy movies and stuff like that and being like, how can I mix these two things? Because you're gonna get a full Matt rant. I'm sorry. You know how everybody looks, humans are visual creatures, and everybody sees things first these days, which I think is cool. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I just think that's how people are. And with music now, people find music through what they see first these days. And I really like want to figure out the border. And I think movies are like in the history of like art mediums, movies are like one of the youngest mediums.
It is.
So, and just filmmaking in general. So I want to figure out how to make it. I'm going to sound so cracked, but
no, dude, like, you're talking to a guy who wants to hear it.
Okay, cool. I want to make something where it's like not a music video, but not quite a movie. I want to write. I've been writing a screenplay based off of writing music first. By writing music first, I get images come into my head. It's one of the weird things that happens to me when I write music. I see things in my head. So for the last 5 years, I've been making a film out of images that come out of my head, no matter how like abstract they may be. And I just finalizing that first. Because if you look at any historical, like religious text, so to speak, you have the first thing, there's a variant of this saying, which is first there was sound and then there was light. So sound, I mean, it's all a vibration, and sound is like in the spectrum of the universe, sound is a lower frequency than light. So it's the first, so it comes before light. So I want to know, so I want to know what it would be like to, instead of, because I'm not a screenwriter, I want to know what it would be like to write a script and see what with music and see the images that come into my head, what that is.
Right. What would accompany the light that comes in with it? It would be the shepherd to the imagery that you would be pairing it to, because the sound comes to you first.
Right.
So technically it's the shepherd. It's the one that opens the door for the light to come in.
Right.
Dude, I love that. I mean, it sounds like you're somewhat of a low-level synesthete. You can pair two senses with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're writing from a perspective of not just one sense, but two senses paired with each other, and knowing what may interact with our mind before at first when we're hit with, a Matt Paulazzo art audio visual project,
Yeah, hopefully it works out. So
that's rad as shit, dude. It's you're hitting me on the levels that I'm looking for. Stimulus in the vast ocean of information that we constantly turn our phones on to see every single day.
Right.
I'm looking for something that's going to stick out there, and somebody with that type of foundation for what they want to put out into the world. I think that's actually somebody who cares about it a little bit more than fuck your fucking shit that you put at the bottom of the shit. I don't even know what that said. probably Anthony drunk, but you guys just don't like it when I filibuster about cool fucking stuff, dude. All right.
Yeah.
I'm done talking, I guess. I guess the resident homies are done with me.
Do you no. Matt, do you have like a preference on like types of drums? Like types of like what's your favorite kind of like drum cymbals and stuff, like just heads, all that kind of gear?
Anybody who has met me over the years as a drummer, I usually don't say too much because my knowledge of drum stuff is garbage.
Oh, cool.
Absolute garbage. So my first kit was a Gretsch Catalina Birch.
Okay.
And that was really awesome. And I've only ever had 2 kits. I had that Gretsch Catalina Birch, and I've had a DW Performance now for like 8 years.
Nice.
And it's absolutely fantastic. I love that thing. I've never owned one, but I really want a bell brass snare. Really want one of those. I'm pretty sure that's what they used on my favorite sounding extreme drum record is Evangelion from Behemoth. I love the drum sound on that record. I just think it's so angry sounding.
Real fast, Joel and I saw Behemoth live together like in October, and fucking Inferno, man, he's still out there killing it. They played. Is it Daimonos? What a Daimonos? Daimonos.
Yeah.
They played Daimonos. I was
That's
like,
my
holy
favorite.
fuck.
Yeah,
dude, it's so good. Yeah, and it's a little slower these days, but
I didn't feel like they were like true black metal, but I've been like on stage with them in like 2009, 8 or something. And I remember Inferno. I was standing on stage and they were like, the sound check, because our manager was there, is Brovar. It's their guy that does all their shit. So it was like, come on stage and hang out. And I was like, cool. And I'm sitting there just like, like I don't know what the fuck is gonna like what's going on with these guys. They're like fucking, they're just being all spastic and crazy and stuff. And the whole time Inferno was just sitting there just like this, hit his head like this. I'll use for the camera, like looking over me like this. It's like light hitting off his face. He's just staring at me the whole time, just like. And I was like, I was actually creeped out. I was like, his face like had like this like certain shadow hitting it. It looked like a fucking like, I don't know. It didn't look like a human face, and I was like, I was like, but no, he's I don't know. Behemoth is black metal, but that's like more of the more on the popular
Black
side,
and
right?
Death.
Early stuff's like black metal, but like
it's like Immortal has like kind of a thrash and darkened thrash,
or is it
black and thrash,
like Dimmu, like puritanical, like
Dimmu? Yeah, it's like orchestral, kind of like melodic.
Sick. I love
it's
that.
so good.
Shit.
That's one of the best records ever, by the way. Puritanical.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite. Yeah. But would you consider a puritanical black metal?
Yes, and as a huge black metal fan, I still consider it within black metal. Nobody come at me with that. But yeah, I absolutely do consider it black metal.
So why is it like though that it's like that would be like, no, that's not the black, like why is that like forbidden or something? Like
the symphony
it sounds too good.
It was produced.
It was produced, yes,
well,
produced.
And it was also like Dimmu was like getting some like pretty well fame at that point, which was like the whole like boo commercialism.
Okay. That's like the ultimate boo commercialism.
It's Cradle of Filth looked at the same way.
Yeah.
Kind of sellouty, like.
But they're so good. Like they're. I mean, they're.
I actually don't even know any Cradle of Filth songs. That's to this day. I like see the logo and I've gone to their shows and I know the guitar player.
Paul.
Ni Abelvascarius. When they came to town, they like brought me in the back and we all partied with them and stuff. And I was like, they're fucking sick. I don't know any of their songs. Really? I've always just seen the logo and I've always just been like, nah, not for me. I don't know why that's always turned me off. I'm just like, I don't know why. I'm just
dude. Anthony knows about Cradle of Filth, dude. Anthony's down.
I love Cradle.
Dude, the 90s shit with Nick Parker and stuff. Like,
do you have a puritanical like album? Like,
oh, dude, this shit is like. Well, I mean, it's a little. It's not I mean, it's a little
No,
different, but
once
it's still really
Puritanical
good.
came out, it totally
Puritanical is like
elevated
more,
the
yeah.
I
symphonic
listen to it to this
black
day. I listen to it
metal
all the
scene
time.
and
I listen to it
everything.
still to this day a bunch.
But
But I
okay,
gotta
so
give it
what's
up to Dimmu. Oh wait, no, sorry, go for it.
Oh no, just gonna say really quick, what are the Cradle of Filth albums that were like with Nick Barker and shit? Like
Okay, so everything
it was
up
like
until
Cradle to Enslave
Cruelty
or
and the
something.
Beast.
Cruelty and the
Everything that-
Beast.
Cruelty and the Beast was when Barker stopped.
I didn't even know he played with them.
Yeah.
That's how
Dude,
dumb
you
I
gotta
am
go
with Cradle of
listen
Filth.
to
That's
that
where
shit.
everybody knows Barker from, bro.
Really? I
Um,
know him from
yeah, dude.
Puritanical, and I know him from
Dusk
like
and Her
Old Man's
Embrace
Child.
Old Man's
is-
That's
Child,
it.
yeah.
That's all I know him from.
Listen to Dusk and Her Embrace, Joel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Listen to
Dust
I've-
and Her Embrace. That's another
That
one, yeah.
that album, and then when you're ready, go on to Cruelty. I'll tell you the OG Cruelty mix is not as good as the albums previous, but those two albums right there were very, very, they're in my blood.
What's like the
still to
one,
this
like the
day.
fastest one?
Yeah.
that's
What's
like
what's the
with, like,
one
the
for me to
Dusk and Her
like?
Embrace
start
has
with?
got Barker
Dusk and Embrace.
with his double bass, but
Midian?
actually
Yeah.
like Cruelty.
Oh, Midian, yeah.
There's artistic choices that I think that Barker and Cradle made during
I
those
didn't know
albums.
Barker was in Cradle of Filth till like 5 seconds ago.
And
oh my god, it's crazy.
yeah,
the best
and
drummers.
they made artistic creative choices that didn't necessarily show Barker's abilities at that time, but there's certain points on Dusk and Her Embrace that show what Barker was really capable of,
I think
So if you
Casey got a
listen
black
to-
metal man. He's just all like, he didn't even know he was in fucking. He just left the podcast.
I mean, it's not. So you're talking. You want to be real? It's not black metal. That's not black metal.
yeah.
Cradle of Filth is not black metal. Dimmu.
But
It's
when
not
did they
true.
start?
I would
You-
call
you missed-
Dimmu black metal because for all Tid 93 second wave of the second wave. I give a pat. This is me being the cult black metal fan. I give Dimmu the pass because
Cult
they were
means
the
dork,
second
right?
wave of the second
Sorry.
wave, but Cradle
I'm down.
is something that really is just like Iron Maiden filtered through the second wave of the second wave prism,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Think
Speaking of
Pink
which-
Floyd's fucking Dark Side of the Moon album. You take Iron Maiden, put it through the fucking
Lens of
Norwegian black metal prism, and
Well-
on the rainbow on the end is
Well,
Cradle
Mortal
of
was
Filth.
Sons of the Northern Darkness. That was thrash. Someone was like, check out black metal. Check out Sons of the Northern Darkness. And I'm like, this is like Slayer-ish. Like, I'm like, this is black metal? Okay. This is
It all
okay, I'm
Well,
down.
from
Before
that.
we move on, I was gonna say real quick to the Iron Maiden. You guys have all heard the Cradle of Filth cover of Hallowed Be Thy Name, right? Iron Maiden.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, that shit is
that's
I haven't-
really
greatest. That's like the
root.
greatest cover of all time. I think
It is. It is.
pretty much. Like,
Hallowed Be
it's
Thy
so-
Name by Cradle. of
You haven't
Filth
heard
is
them, dude.
one of
go
the
listen to it
greatest
right
metal
now.
covers I've ever heard in my whole life, dude.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, they nail it, dude. And that's
Right.
on the double disc.
So to close out the Cradle of Filth thing, like what I mean,
Cradle.
like I mean, for me, that's always been like I've always never wanted to listen to him. I was like, for whatever reason, I was like, my brain made a decision. Was like, I like Spawn of Possession and Gorgasm. I'm not like listening to Cradle of Filth, but what kind of style would you? Because it's not. If you're saying it's not black metal, what do you call it? Matt, you go first.
No, Matt said he's
I'll-
permissive about black metal, not gatekeeping.
Yeah, I'm permissive. I am. Yeah, I'm not. Even though
No,
I am
that's what I want. That's what I want.
I am like a huge black metal fan. It's my favorite genre of metal. But at the same time, I do think I'll give I would give like Puritanical a pass as black metal, even though again I'd probably get like batted for saying that at the wrong place. But
right.
I do. There is a different point. There is something missing if you listen to like the original second wave stuff and then going into like gothic. That's a good word. Is if you go into the original second wave stuff though, that's just like so there's not. It's like a carelessness. There's an attitude about it.
Yeah.
That it's like when punk happened originally. It's just like an attitude, and black metal had this attitude when it started. And like when Demu started, like in Cradle, like these bands, that there was like, it was more, it wasn't an attitude. It was just like they figured out how it looks, and it sounds, and they were just kind of being that, looking like that, like the Kerrang article that made black metal fucking huge or whatever. All that stuff. And so yeah, I think they just started like making it into like a theatrics, kind of just
like once like Demu and stuff started coming around and stuff, people were just like, you know what, we're gonna have a fuck it to this shit, like a, you know, like an old school rock and roll Sex Pistols thing. It was like, fuck all this, I'm gonna
you look at like those second wave bands, they were seeing that now we're piggybacking something that was unique and outside of the bubble, that even though the dynamics of it were heavy metal, distorted guitars, drums, vocals, all the elements were there. They were kind of anti anything popular. So then you got the second wave who saw that was happening and wanted to be in the wake of that, but at the same time, once they caught, there's enough of them that caught the
fucking caught the second wave, bro.
No, they caught. Yeah, I know. I am doing that. The wave and the fucking that is working out. But no, I wasn't trying to do that shit. I was trying to say that they realized the whole reason why they were attracted to that anti-everything sound, and once it became a commodity, they all abandoned it. If you look at Over, they truly abandoned it as soon as they caught that wave. Like Joel was saying, they actually did catch the wave a little bit, and as soon as they caught the wave, they were like, fuck this, we're gonna hit a right turn real quick and go down to where all the fucking murky waters are and all the crazy obstacles that we're gonna have to come across hitting the next wave. And then you get an Over like that, and I think that they were trying to continue not necessarily that same wave, but they were trying to catch another one in order to feel the same feeling that second wave was feeling when they were creating something new. But it's not the same. It's still a generic wave after that, dude. All right. Again, Anthony is filibustering.
No.
I agree.
I'll move this one forward. I want to know what tours you did after the Aegaeon tour, and then when I met you was your first show at the Zenith Passage.
Oh
yeah, that was in 2017.
Yeah, it was like the beginning of January or something like that.
In Pomona, California, at PBW, Pizza, Beer, and Wings.
Yes, you were with Transcend the Realm, right?
Yeah. Okay. And I met Justin that night too, and the rest of the gang. But yeah, it was your first show. So I want to know, like, fill in the time, and I like black metal, and everything we talked about is cool. And it's just if we don't move on, I don't know what'll happen. So,
oh yeah,
we're only 2 hours. We could have kept for another half hour on black metal, but that's fine.
Yeah, dude, I'll go on black metal and movies. I'll go for a lifetime.
I just want to hit a couple more things.
I think we're going to start in separate podcasts. We're going to do a separate episode, me and you. So we can talk about all the things that the resident homies wouldn't let us talk about tonight.
The world is a vampire.
It's a deal. Man, yeah, you met me my first show with Zenith. That was okay. I guess so. Okay. After Abiotic, I was playing with Aegaeon, and then I was still doing some living in Minnesota, and I was playing some a lot of local shows with some of the bands I was still in, and Jesse Beeler was in Black Crown Initiate at the time, and he was another sweetheart, and he told me that I should join Zenith, and I'm pretty sure both him and Chasen pitched me to Justin. I don't know how exactly it happened, but I became like dead set on like I gotta figure out how to play for this band because they had just put out Solipsist, and it was like popping off. Yeah, full on vibe. And I just remember being like, okay, I'm gonna learn some Zenith Passage stuff, and I'd listen to the record, and then I was like, holy shit, how am I gonna learn this? This shit's hard, and I learned it, and I accredit a lot of people. I'm grateful to all these very kind people who call me like machine-like when I play. I literally accredit, apart from like learning Fear Factory first, I accredit that to learning Justin's drum parts that he wrote on his computer, because they're fucking hard, and you literally have to learn how to think differently, dude. Yes, you literally have to learn how to think differently. So learning how to play the Zenith stuff is probably arguably I would argue like the second most important aspect of my evolution as a musician.
I remember the first time I heard Zenith, dude. Joel was sitting in a mall parking lot with me. We were getting ready to go into a Chili's, dude. We were gonna meet I forget who we were meeting at the Chili's that day, but it was the mall right next to your spot when you were living down there at the time off of 40th or 41st, right? And that mall, whatever's down there, I remember sitting before we walked in, and he's playing the fucking Zenith EP, the first EP on physical CD too. He's like, check this shit out, dude. And I was like, what is going on right now?
Yeah, but it's some tough stuff. But I remember, but yeah, my first show when I played with Joe, I was literally like so nervous. That was the most nervous I've ever. I don't think Chris knows. I had never been so nervous for a show because when you get on stage, like the adrenaline kicks in, and no matter how much you practice, you like overdo something, and if you on drums, if you like come in a little hot, on a little hot on the Zenith stuff, it's just like, well, I'm fucked.
Kind of like a Mortal Kombat, like test your might.
Yeah,
you kind of have to, like you really have to like be in the pocket and like. Did you have any click or anything?
Yeah, I'll click.
Yeah, click. Okay, yeah, but still, like it's. I mean, your style is perfect. I mean, seeing you going from singles to doubles, I was like, oh, I get it. Why he's jamming with them? That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But going into that, like having the pressure of Justin being a shredder.
Yes.
No, he is this absolute shredder. But like have a dude that's like making this like kind of like very specific rhythmic. I know, but this is before they were in the band. But the very crisp like perfection that came in with that sound, like, and having to play that live. Anyways, tell me the rest of the story. Jesus,
I basically just had to like learn, because it was so like the sound is so like precise. I basically just like spent the next few years just like practicing that way, like, and I would record myself, and I would hear back how I was like, okay, and I would look on the computer on the grid of my playing. I'd be like, okay, when I'm blasting, I'm noticing my left hand is shifting off of like the 16th note. I start ahead of the beat, just like this much, and I finish the blast beat run just like mildly behind the beat. So somewhere I'm having to compensate for my left hand's inability to lock in as tight as it should be. So I spent a bunch of time just like practicing left hand stuff. To like be as close to like computer perfect as possible, kind of thing, which is a weird thing to strive for.
That is interesting as shit, but I want to know outside of that. So you're done with a session with that, or you're working that out, and then you're done with it. You're like, all right, I gotta walk away from this Zenith stuff do you listen to other music at that point, or do you just say fuck it? I need to wait until I go back to the Zenith stuff.
I'm really good at taking. Well, I'm not really good. I'm learning still, and I don't think I'll ever stop. But I love mentally, like when I stop playing drums, it's usually one of the last things I'll do in the day, and I'm like, okay, everything metal about my day is over.
Yeah,
it's over. I'm gonna go shift into movie mode, listen to ambient music, or just meditate, whatever. I need to get my brain away from this.
shifted. Yeah, totally.
And learning Zenith stuff in particular is a very it's so much notes that your brain has to be like, you have to give the brain like, get take 5. I'm not processing. They're like in here, they're just like a jumble, and then you just gotta go like step outside for a walk, and then like you sit back down and it's there. It's kind of like one of those, you just got, that's how, again, a human mind works in a very strange way. But
oh, totally, dude. So what's your go-to post metal session, whether it be recording, jamming, or whatever? If you got to listen to something else, what's the thing that pulls you, or shows you that defined line of, all right, I've stopped the metal, what's the next thing?
Well, one of the things that since Justin's here, one of the things that me and Justin always bonded over, and I still do it to this day. I can't, hundreds of times, maybe thousands at this point, I'll finish my metal day, and it's nighttime, everything's quiet, and you just turn on the goddamn Blade Runner soundtrack and drive home.
Oh yeah,
dude, that's the end of the day, dude. Every time. My body will, like, if I put on the Blade Runner soundtrack, my body knows to shift into time to enjoy and take in life a little bit right now.
How rad is that, dude?
Every time.
So who did and I'm gonna be a dummy when I ask this, but who did the Blade Runner soundtrack?
Original one's Vangelis.
Okay.
Yeah, and the new one was Hans Zimmer. So.
Wow, dude. So is it synthy, like more?
It's all
ambient?
synthy wonders. Synthy ambient wonders.
Love it.
Yeah, dude. Dude, taking a shower with ambient music is something I learned in the last couple of years. Is so epic, dude. Yeah. It really is, dude. I like to listen to things in the shower. Like Joel likes to listen to things when he goes to sleep.
I only listen to
shower. I have an Alexa though. I can be showering and be like, I want to hear this one thing. I'm like, a word. I don't want to start playing.
But when I'm showering, it's got to be like moody. It's got to put me in a mood.
Well, actually, I'm very interested in Matt's. So meeting you for the first time tonight was very awesome, and I mean, I can tell right away you have the same vibe that kind of Paul Masvidal has a little bit, where it's kind of, it's very chill and yeah, exactly. And it just, there's an aura to you, and it's it's super cool to, like, if someone was like doubting death metal or like, I don't want to listen to that, I'm like, this guy plays it. This guy's like the meanest guy I've ever met in my life. Matt over here. I know, but like a lot of people that like find this style of music, that it just, I don't know, like your mom was a yoga teacher. There's a really good like aura about you. Where do you think that, I mean, where that came from, or was that because of you didn't want to piss anyone off? Because I have, I definitely didn't want to. I wasn't social until high school. My mom would have to like call other parents and have them send kids over to hang out. When I was a kid.
Your mom's yoga thing based in spirituality, or was it just physical?
It's definitely spirituality, because her mom is a trip. She used to be like a 50s housewife, my grandmother. And then when she turned 50, she met another guy who used to be like my step grandpa, who was like a debt collector for Pablo Escobar back in the day.
Jesus
Christ. And I
love asking questions on this.
But he and her took mushrooms together when they were like 50, and then my grandma just like hit the road in an RV and became like this trippy psychedelic women. So my grandma has like done mushrooms and
yes,
like all that kind of
dude.
stuff.
Yeah.
So my
Grandma's
mom
still
got into
alive?
yoga. Yep, she's
Grandma's
still
still alive?
kicking.
Hell
Very,
yeah. Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's
Side
very
note,
wonderful.
did you take mushrooms with your grandma?
I've never taken mushrooms with my grandma. I have smoked weed with both my parents and my grandma.
Hell yes.
Nice.
dude.
So it was fun.
That's what's up, dude.
So were psychedelics a big part of your life? I mean, like, did that kind of blast you off into I mean, because I feel this vibe from you that like something like that, one of those experiences kind of
It did.
Yeah, okay. Boom.
Yeah, it was big. I did back not that long ago, probably about 4 years ago now. I did 6 solo LSD trips by myself.
Damn.
Which
In the
is
dark or something?
dark, and also I don't
Opening.
encourage that. By the
Yeah.
way, to anybody, don't do it by yourself that much. And I did it within 3 weeks. It was terrible.
Mhm.
I because if you do psychedelics in that quantity and that close of time, your personality will cease to exist.
Mhm.
And
They were blast off sessions too.
Absolute blast off sessions. Just and it was the last experience I had. While it was the most frightening of my life, it was also, I consider, the most powerful and important night of my existence, because it made me realize how I thought I was like trapped in this mental loop of like, I don't have free will. I'm like on this like train tracks of like everything. And I literally realized that I got stuck in what's called repetitive motion syndrome. I didn't know whether to stand up or sit down. I got stuck doing that for a half an hour.
Damn.
I
Yeah.
didn't know not
Like a
to do
loop.
that.
You're in a loop.
Yeah, in a physical loop. And I didn't know how to
Yeah.
stop it. So I just started crying and puking everywhere.
Jesus. Yeah.
I know this is really weird, heavy stuff. It's
No,
really it's really
we
helpful.
love psychedelics here, bro. So we want to hear all the stories.
But in that awareness, I got trapped, and I just kind of like it felt like the abyss is just like coming up and I'm falling into it. There's nothing left but the abyss.
Just
it's absolute
enveloping
chaos.
you.
Yeah, but at the same time, while that's the most frightening feeling in the world, because your personality ceases to exist. It's the only thing the brain perceives the void as nothingness, even though that nothingness is what everything comes from. So it's like a weird it's like in that experience, I didn't know what to do. So I had my synthesizers on, fortunately. They were on. And I just was like so sad, but I got up and I played like one note on them. And it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard in my entire life, amidst absolute horror. And I realized that like I made a decision to do that. Yeah. Oh, and then my definition of who Mathew is became something shifted. So I'm very self-aware of like speaking. I've done it countless times tonight. Like the words that come out of my mouth are like muscle memory responses. They're not it's like my creature wiring that's taking over.
Yeah, it's not coming directly from your brain. It's kind of like a muscle memory part of
response.
Your brain.
But then there's like authentic things. I'm like, there I am, kind of thing.
Have you had the authentic things tonight too?
Definitely. Yeah. When I go off of my like film like rant stuff, I get a little nerdy and like,
that's what's up, dude. Matt. We're doing a Cali Death special film episode soon. Dude.
It's the best, dude. We got to do it. But also at the same time, talking with you 4 lovely dudes is also just like when you listen more. Like I hear like whatever tangent we go on. I think that just going there is also a fuller experience. You listen and you just go on the ride. That is you, I think, in a pure sense, as opposed to trying to like force your mental will into a conversation, which I do all the time. We all do it, and it's just like this weird. You kind of just ride with.
No, I have a back and forth with it. There's a silence sometimes, and I'll be like, I have to say something.
Yeah,
like it's like not something I care about at all. It's not like a thought, but like when I'm excited about something, my brain, like a different part of my brain gets activated, and I'm like excited to ask something or excited to be a part of it and stuff like that. And I definitely that actually, it's actually kind of I never thought of it like that. And because there is a lot of these kind of like defense, like just let me react, let me just throw out words real quick, rather than just like, oh, it's flowing freely, and this is what it's coming from a different part of my brain. I want this to come out.
Embrace the weeds, dude. Just embrace it.
Dude. The weeds are it's all part of it. The chaos is order unidentified.
What I think is cool is about like what you're talking about, like chilling and going having some trips and all that, and comparing him to Paul and all this. It's like, I don't know, it's like the opposite of like someone who's just like this crazy stressed like business person like on the other end, you know, and of course we all have to work and all this kind of shit. But anyways, the point is like when I talk to like guys like you or like Paul for comparing, like I just feel like, dude, you're like listening to every word I'm saying, like you're like super intrigued, like focused on what I'm saying, like, and it's and like it's like he just like, if I've compared to Paul, he just like, he's like, I'm like, why are you so interested in what I'm saying? It like trips me out. I'm like, why do you care about me? Like, it's weird. I'm like, so used to people just like listening to me talk and then waiting to like for me to finish so they can say what they're gonna say, you know?
Right.
And everyone's in such a hurry and everyone's so stressed and trying to just get everything out and like in their things and their thoughts. And then in this conversation is like also a stress. It's almost just like, yeah, we have to talk because we
cameras staring at us.
I'm chilling, man.
No, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about like just life, like
just in conversation of anyone.
Yeah. Like I'm talking about like at work and stuff like that. I'm not talking about the podcast. And so like I think it's super cool, like where it's like someone who's just like in a state that they're like just basically, I mean, not stressed. I mean, start with, but the thing is, it's like, but like just like it just trips me out. Like when I talk to somebody who's like so like present and focused on what I'm actually saying, it's like weird. It's like it's great. It's fucking amazing, but it's almost like I'm so not used to it on the daily basis that it's like, or not like, I don't know, just in certain situations, you know what I mean? It's like a lot, like we're all so busy. And it's like, I don't
there's
know.
an automatic response I always have when like when Anthony or Carrie, you call me like, how what's going on? How you doing? I'm like, just keeping it 100. I'll just say something like that, but it's just like it's just words. But it's not like my how I'm feeling is still behind a barrier. You know, it's not like none of that's coming out. It's like just, you know, just 100, just keeping it cool. What's going, you know, like, but like to actually to tap into it and break a hole into that wall and have the actual, like the things you want to talk about come out is, I mean, it's my whole life. It's like, you know, trying to be in conversation and stuff. I'm in a role. I'm an executive now, like, and I have to go like in that role. And I'm just like, yes, you know, I have to like go into that thing where I just jump right into it.
I call you and you'll be like, dude, I just had diarrhea, dude.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'm comfortable. I won't say it to my CEO, but I mean, I want to. I want more than anything. I want to.
You want to have diarrhea?
But
I do too, dude.
But no, it's cool to distinguish like the muscle response versus like the flowing response, which is like what. Yeah. Anyways, so you're 16 at this time, and you get into Metallica.
Nailed it, dude.
No, we haven't hit all the bases, so we're
still there.
No, so Joseph.
No, we aren't.
Okay,
had a timeline for every point he wanted to hit. So Joseph, you go next. Of what point have we not hit that you want to talk about?
Yeah, the Black Dahlia,
the tour from hell.
Nice.
Tour from hell.
Yeah,
and then maybe I'm wondering how many times we can blow Joel's mind at realizing something he didn't know coming into this. Like you played the Alluvial record. You're the drummer on the first Alluvial LP.
I'm actually my face is in the record. I'm not on the record.
Oh fuck, never mind.
Yeah, Matt. That's actually credit to Matt Guglielmo. Dude,
blew your mind.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I got psyched out. They were like, yeah.
You're like, wait, I got another one for him.
No.
Oh well, fuck.
Yeah.
Right, well,
I've seen your name. I've seen your name all over the place. By the way, it looked very familiar, and I knew Zenith Passage, like live drummer and stuff. Like, so I was waiting for kind of these like little golden eggs hidden. So
yeah, but like, yeah, you've been on the road with Bill and Matt, and these guys have too.
Yes,
so.
I didn't even. Yeah.
Night drive.
I remember that story now. I remember like the Zenith Passage drummer jumps in or joins Decrepit and stuff. I remember that story and stuff, and I didn't know it was you. Just like I didn't know that the drummer of Demi was in fucking Cradle of Filth. It's the same thing.
So we do this show just to show Joel that
I'm like, whoa,
gotta get Joel.
Wow.
Joel's like, oh,
no. But no, I want to get back to the story about that.
Yeah, okay. I go. All right. I've been playing with Zenith. I did Devastation on the Nation with Zenith Passage in 2017, and Decrepit Birth was on that tour. And they like a couple months after that tour, Matt hit me up. I was like, hey, we got a tour with Black Dahlia and Suffocation coming up. Would you want to do it? And I'm like, yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I started learning all the Decrepit Birth material. And by the way, this is not just because Casey's here. All my favorite stuff is the stuff that you did. That was the most fun stuff to play.
Oh yeah,
he's the best drummer I know. Anyways,
I love being in a band with him, dude.
He hates compliments, so just keep him coming.
Yeah, but that was definitely
right on though.
Yeah.
Thanks.
God, wow, yeah, Justin's with the me getting too stoned memories here. So I started learning the Decrepit Birth material. Not a small feat, by the way. Hard stuff. Also learning the stuff off of And Time Begins. If you get off of the click track, it's over. Absolutely over. Like there's like you can't like you have like the clicks and guitars in your ears. You're just like all you hear in the guitar, and you're like, I don't know where I am. I have no idea where I am. It's just we're lost in just like chugs. And like I know Casey knows it, but like
Casey's like,
I can't really imagine, dude.
We never use clicks. So
you never. How do you know where you are in those songs?
He's a shredding guitar player. He probably understands.
No, it was just we just like
if you didn't use clicks, how did you?
No, the only way is because we jammed like 5 nights a week, 3 hours a week, or
you just muscle memory. You knew,
or 3 or 4
nights
a week. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was ridiculous. We were
at the storage unit.
No, at the but then also later at the
Furniture Dome.
Furniture Dome, yeah.
But we would just jam like so often. It was just like,
and our living room was just like amps and like a fucking drum set, and we just walk up and people would show up, and all right, it's 5 o'clock, let's jam.
Anyways, Holocaust is playing on the TV.
It's so interesting. Like I've never played any Decrepit song, well, except for recording, of course. But like to a click, like especially the In Time Begins stuff, like no click. It'd be interesting to try it. That's pretty kind of funny.
Right. It was definitely.
They get lost. I could definitely.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, there was one show we were playing, and like, I was like in New Mexico, and like I was playing the end of In Time Begins, totally got lost or something, and Matt turns around and she's like digga, like looking at me, and I'm just like digga. I don't even know. Fucking,
no, dude, no, Casey, the drumstick hit you in the eye, and you had a black eye.
No, that was a different time.
Okay.
But that was New Mexico. Anyways, points. So you were saying about like
learning it to click
and the click and
it was hard. It was a lot of work. I threw in put in all the effort, got the set down. Showed up, started rehearsing with the Decrepit guys. It was going really well. I was really stoked about it. Just great guys in general too. And tour starts. We're on the drive out to the East Coast, and then I got a text from Brian from Black Dahlia.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Hey, can you fill in for Alan in the middle of this tour?" And I'm like, "What? How is that possible?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah." I mean, it's Black Dahlia asking you to fill in for them, and you don't say no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this." And then I was just like, "What the?"
While you're driving to start off a Decrepit tour.
Yeah, and I had played like 1 or 2 of the routing shows with Decrepit, but like I was like, how the fuck is this gonna work? I have nowhere to rehearse. They're doing a headline. They just put out their like most popular album ever, like biggest charting one. It was debuted at like 8 on the Billboard 200s or something like that. And I was like, okay, how am I gonna learn this? So I literally just spent, while I was still like integrating the Decrepit, I wasn't like comfortable, like this is easy, I got this Decrepit. I was like still like nervous about it. And then I'm like, now I have to learn a Dahlia set without rehearsing. So I spent every day in the van just like transcribing out like fills
on that, or did you let them know right away?
I let them know. They were like totally cool with it. They're like, if you want to do it, be our guest, but holy shit, that's gonna be hard. And I just would like every day in the back of the van and just be like writing stuff out. Bill would be sleeping next to me, and I'd just be like writing it out. Bill's awesome foam sleeping pad that God knows how old that thing was. Bill is Night Drive. Bill though are the best, by the way, absolute best thing ever.
Oh yeah, so many hours. I love it.
Best. Bro, psychedelics, man. It's the only way to fucking you gotta do it in the dark. It's the only way. It's like I love that dude so much. And I was just stressed. I would spend every day. I'd be like, okay, I can learn. I'm gonna like write out maps for 2 songs a day and like kind of imagine myself being able to play them. So I would fall asleep visualizing playing the songs. And because I had like just over 2 weeks to learn the set. Damn. Without rehearsal or playing it on a drum set.
Jesus.
And so I got 1 or 2 sound checks with Black Dahlia, basically.
Damn.
I have such anxiety right now, dude.
I know. I'm like shaking my chair right now.
I was absolutely terrified. And I was so on edge. There was there was one thing on that tour that gave me some peace of mind. The sequel to Blade Runner came out, and like I took one night after learning like 3/4 of the Dahlia set.
Yeah.
I took like a fucking Uber to a theater to see Blade Runner 2049 by myself. I was so on edge and looking forward to seeing this that this one dude said like a half of a word at the beginning of the movie, and I just turned around and told him to shut the fuck up. I've been waiting for this for so long, and I don't do that. I was like, holy shit, that's like an animal.
I can't imagine you doing that. Yeah.
He listened to you though. He shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, it's like the beginning of the movie. Dave Bautista comes out. He's like, Bautista. I was like, don't even. I was like, don't, dude, no. So yeah, I had learned like 3/4 of the set, and then so this is where it gets a little strange. At this point, Matt from Decrepit starts feeling sick, and he needs to go home, and Decrepit's going to drop off the tour. I'm like, what? What's going on? And Bill and Sean are like, what are we gonna do? I don't know. And then Dahlia's like, well,
you're like, thank God. I need to go
it's like one less thing to think about. And I literally just learned. It was a relief in a certain way. I was kind of bummed because I was enjoying
it's bummed.
Doing
You're
it,
bummed, but like it's also like the pressure that's going to go headlining. Yeah.
And then a day after Decrepit drops, I haven't even played the Dahlia set yet, and I'm still like I have like a little less than a week left till that. And then tour manager Michael McDonald, shout out for being one of the sickest TMs ever, by the way. It did. And then he comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, would Zenith want to take Decrepit's spot on the tour?" And I'm like, "I know they would definitely. I don't know if I want to do that at all. I haven't played. We hadn't played a show together in like 6-7 months.
God,
we rehearsed and."
The stars are aligning. The stars are aligning in a fucked up way.
Third set you have to fucking think about. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hadn't even played with Dahlia yet, so I was just like, yes, okay, we can do this. I'll do it. It's fine." Because I had no one to finish the tour off with anyway, so I was like, let's just play with. I remember the music. I haven't played it.
Yeah.
But, the Dahlia guys were so kind to me and let me stay on the bus with them since Decrepit dropped off, and they just let me be like their drum tech, even though they're like, you don't have to just sleep here. They're really cool, and they just like showed me how like to do their setup, because the setup for Alan's programming the click tracks for the songs on the sampler, you would think the set would be in order. It's not. He's like, okay, so this song is page 1, 2, and then you're like, oh God, it's all like the sampler's not even in order. The click track, so I'm paging through different things. I'm like, okay, Statutory Ape is on this one, and then all the other. It was just like, oh God. So I memorized that stuff watching him set up his drums every day. But then the shows came. First one was on Halloween in Vancouver at good old Rickshaw Theater.
Oh yeah, woo.
Heroin addicts everywhere.
Yeah, I know. Needles everywhere.
And I don't remember the day, honestly. I was so jittery.
Yeah.
And it started off learning the Shannon Lucas stuff and the Zach Gibson stuff really easy. Alan's parts are way harder on the kit, way more intricate. But they open with the new stuff, which is Alan's stuff, and Alan has all these like intricate fills and stuff like that. So that stressed me out. So like the first song I had, like my nerves were starting up. Whatever the first song on Nightbringers is, that's what we opened with. And then I had like a tiny hiccup, and then the rest of the show was like flawless.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about after that hiccup. Was there a flow state moment for you at all during that set?
There was a moment where like my anxiety peaked at that moment. Like, oh shit! It was like they barely even. They were like was like it was like a hiccup that like only like a musician's ever going to notice, like no one's ever going to know. But like my anxiety peaked. I'm like, I have a whole set. This is the first song. Oh my God. And my anxiety peaked, and I just ended up, my mom would always tell me very kind, like wise words of just kind of like, remember, you're not your thoughts, you're just the observer of your thoughts, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
dude.
That would kick in, and then I'd just be like, okay, that's there. You are not that feeling. And so I would just like listen, just remember to listen to the song, and you know what to do. You've listened to this so much for weeks now, and you know what to do. You know these songs. And I just kind of settled into that and focused. And I remember every song that I finished, I was like, one step closer. I've never wanted a set to be over faster in my life.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, one closer. We're getting there. And then we got to the nocturnal miasma part of the set. And I'm like, okay, I can chill. This is a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it went really well. And I made it through that. I remember finishing.
Dude.
Yeah, it went really well. And then I played the next night. That's a bit of a jump, but I played the next night in Seattle with them. I only did 2 shows. And I remember it was just the most. I got back on the bus, and they were all just like so kind and grateful and supportive.
On the second night, did you get the jitter? Did you?
Yeah, there was no jitters. It was way more confident. I was still nervous and like wanted it to be over. Because I was just like I'm nowhere near as prepared as I would like to be for this.
It kind of harkens back though, not to cut you. I'm sorry to cut you off, but like you talked about like your original drum jazz teacher. You said something about him putting you under stress or making you uncomfortable, and that's like, and to me that's a fucking lesson right there. Because to me, like I'll be playing in front of my best friend Carrie and being like, I'll get nervous playing in front of him, but then we'll play in front of 10,000 people at a festival. I'm like, what? I don't give a shit. But like when I'm sitting there, like there's some sort of a stress factor where I'll be like stressed and I'll be like, oh, this is uncomfortable for me. Play, and I'm like, I can't play. Things I'll do constantly, all day long by myself. Like it's I got it, and I'll try to show Carrie something, and I'm like all excited. Or I'm like, oh God, I'm also thinking about what he's thinking and what he's gonna judge me on, and it's my best friend that we're gonna live and die as best friends. But I'm still like thinking, like stuck in a weird fucking parallax of not understanding of like what he's gonna like think of it, you know what I mean? And
I care what Carrie thinks a lot.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things though. It's like that's a good lesson. Like if you want to play live, you want to be a musician live, like stress them out. Let's put you under stress. Let's push you in. It's like And
he's such a kind, like positive person, but isn't that funny how we're so scared to play in front of Carrie?
Oh, there we go.
Matt, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Cool. Yes, sorry. I cut out for a sec. Sorry, guys.
We're scared of our closest friends' judgments, even though our closest friends are going to give us like the true nods, because we actually are capable of it all,
Yeah.
Well, I've never been like I've never gotten pleasure. I've never gotten pleasure of playing in front of people I respect. Like I'm always like, there's no pleasure there for me. It's more like it's more
respect in the front row while I'm on stage.
Oh yeah. Well, no, but people that you respect though, it's like they're on a pedestal. So like the fact that you're like you jam in front of those people, that I'll put myself like, oh, don't fuck this up. It's like 10 times 10,
and that's why
my personal anxiety.
So sick because
it's my personal anxiety
in front of Casey.
Well,
it's in front of Casey. We respect that dude.
Well, Casey's the nicest guy in the world, so I'm not like too worried about Casey because he's always like, whatever, dude. He's and turns out to be a fucking music teacher forever. But like, like Carrie's like, oh, dude, we've been working on this, right? You working on it, and then you fuck up one thing, and like, oh God, let's go. Like I feel
on the kit and he was just standing there in front of me while I'm doing vocals, I would think a lot more about my vocals in that moment because he's just sitting there.
No, I mean, also just knowing that Casey can play all the stuff that I'm playing on guitar.
Why are we talking about me right now?
Because
Casey's got the biggest wiener I've ever seen.
What?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
No. But it's something about like like people
Especially
that you
when it comes out
respect.
of the jacuzzi, a Dave's hot tub jacuzzi.
Okay. All right. Dave's
Yeah.
hot tub. Nice.
There we go.
But
Yeah.
but as far as like
Shout
it's something different about like jamming in front of a group of people versus people that you respect one on one. That like my brain will just like it just goes offline. I can't. I mean, it's like basically like me and Casey. We were there. Black Dahlia Murder. First show of the tour. We're in Rochester, and it was a Black Dahlia. It was like Nocturnal had just come out. It's like the whole tour sold out, and it's all of Black Dahlia standing there like this. It's like, yeah, like Casey and me right now.
Oh, I remember that. I remember.
Remember, and they're like go
gnarly.
ahead, sound check. They're like sound check. And we had to like I was like we just drove across the United States, and they're like it's like Brian, Trevor, Shannon, Lucas, Bart, John Camperman, and they're just all like this, just like all right, go.
Yeah,
Like we brought you here for a reason. Go. Let's see what you can do. And I was so fucking nervous. I was like, they're just standing like in the middle of the floor. It was the five of them just like this. Go. And I was like, oh my god, dude, this is the worst. And I was playing bass, luckily. No one really gives a shit. I could play like probably no offense to Ricky. Ricky's actually a good bass player. But I was like,
people give a shit now.
I mean, no, nowadays they've gotten a lot better, but it's for me, I was like, following the route, maybe following a different line for a second, but watching them, I was like,
sick on bass. So you guys are
no, I'm not. I want to play.
Man,
I want to play the flute, but as far as
flute on the next ODS then.
But as far as like having that like versus the actual sold out show with like 800 people later, those five people staying in front of me was a nightmare. I was like, oh god, they picked us. We just drove 4,000 or 2,500 miles. Make sure we do good. It's like, and then it's one of those things where, yeah, kind of like getting back to what like Matt was saying. It's one of those like just like the stress that you put on yourself when they're like excited to see you. Like all of them were excited. Like Trevor brought us out. Trevor called us personally. It was like, we want you guys, like Decrepit Birth, we need you guys on this tour. And we were like, okay, well, we drove across the country. It's all good. And we train wrecked on a song on the way out there. So I'm just like, all like, my confidence is all fucking shitty. And I was like worried and stuff. And they're just like, all right, just I remember the vision of the visual of them just standing in the middle of a floor and all Black Dahlia Murray go, all right, go.
Matt, what was your last train wreck?
My last train wreck?
Yeah, where everybody had to stop.
Unfortunately, it was with Zenith at St. Vitus in Brooklyn. We're all on click tracks. All of us have our click tracks, so we're all on account. And it was my headphone extension cut out. So the tracks died for me, but everyone else was still on them.
Yeah. What's your backup plan when that happens?
There is none. It's just game over. It's fucking game over, man.
Dude, you remind me of Derek so much from.
It was
dude, Justin feels that.
It was brutal, and I died inside because Longstreth came to that show. I was like, he helped me set up, and I was like, oh god, Longstreth.
He helped you set up.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's so sweet though. He was so helpful.
For you, just knowing that dude's in the audience, you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah, dude, it was brutal.
Yeah, extra pressure.
But we all hit those moments, dude. We all five of us on the show right now have had that moment where we had to fucking stop and restart, dude.
But also, like after that moment, you start to emergency like apocalypse plan. You're like,
yeah.
All right, if this happens again, like you have to have that moment to like understand, like, all right, like think about everything that can go wrong, and then you have to start to like mitigate the risk of what can happen. Is like if this happens, I'll do this, or I'll just it's like it almost reminds me of like jazz. I had this really brutal jazz teacher in Santa Cruz, and like
the next question, which is, did you did you?
Dude, he's like
Where were you going with that?
No, it's a jazz teacher that was
is
Ray Brown, one of the most like prolific jazz teachers in California. I answered a question wrong in front of him, and then he was like calling on me every question after that. Anytime he asked a question, it was on me, and so I would make every different out that I could of different chords he was going to ask me to build or different progressions and stuff like that. So I just like went. My homework was like quadruple the normal person's homework, just in case he called on me again. Once I got some stuff right, he stopped fucking with me, and I was like, all right, thank God. Like I was like trying to come up with like whatever, going for, so that basically is like when you run into that wall, you're like, oh shit, it's embarrassing, and he would just like harp on you like even more. Like it's kind of like what you're talking about with your old drum teachers, like stress you out, Yeah, it's like because you have to understand like everything's gonna go wrong. Like there's not. Yeah, it's one of those things.
You guys pick up and play the same song again, or you just move
I think we
on?
just started. Yeah, we just started over that song. Started that song over, and it's okay. I mean, it happens to everybody. I've literally watched Gojira at Trainwreck live, like in the big time. And I on their last tour, there's some footage of it. They're like I posted it. Meshuggah at Trainwreck. So like the best of the best. Like it happened.
That was funny because it's how you deal with like they were like human like
yeah, it's so good.
It's so intricate, the style of music we play, that if any element is out of touch for one or more people on stage, it's gonna fall pretty quickly, and sound has a lot to do with that.
But it could be a comedic connecting event with people that see that happen live. They
see the human aspect,
and they're like, and they see everyone like not like pissed, but like laughing or like, oh God, and then like that sticks with everyone. For me,
think that lasts longer, right? To show that there's
like I got to see them
human
fuck up.
Style of music that we're playing, but we are showing the human elements of us as players.
Here's my add in here that most train wrecks these days are due to technology failure rather than
computer failure.
And that's because we have tried to proof against all human error and give all the control over things to laptops and whatever. And so when you see something go wrong, I usually assume it's something with the system that they're running on. And that's a different kind of like, than like seeing like a human error kind of thing. I think with the Meshuggah case, I think it was Thomas started a song and the rest of the band started a different song. So that was kind of like a human error, which is kind of cool. It's cooler than the click starting too early and on one guy's system or whatever. But I don't know. I think what that kind of reveals is just that kind of like, it does kind of suck that everything has to be safeguarded so much. I kind of like it when it's, could go wrong and like there's less, it's a little riskier. But then again, I don't know. I haven't train wrecked in years and I'm like, I don't want to. So I kind of just going to stick with how we all do it currently. I'm not like trying to like take off the controls, but just to return to that first idea. It's like, if something happens on stage, everyone has to stop. It's probably the computer. It's probably not any.
Well, it's crazy how it's like the technology, like relying on it, like creates like a lot more like, just basically variables of like hazards of if it fails and stuff. And like back before, it was like we had less reliance on technology. It was just like you had to practice a bunch and memorize it and just go for it. But then like also there's human error that can occur with that too, where it's like tempos can be out of whack or everything. So there's all this like, it's like you're like juggling kind of variables of error,
Right.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you should just like it's kind of like keeping like someone online all the time, or like there's always something that's going to go wrong, like in IT or something like that. Like it's almost like bands like moving forward like are going to need like an IT guy like on the tour, and it's like a band just like fails live on stage and they just like all point at the IT guy. He's like on the side of the stage and he's like, no, like, you know, it's like, oh fuck, you ran the wrong update. Like, fuck,
Right.
God damn it.
That's a classic move though, is if you don't know the song, you like pretend your guitar's not working and like,
yeah, you're like, what
not
the fuck?
me, dude.
Like,
Like, I don't
yeah,
know.
like, I can't play the guitarist. Yeah, like yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah. But fuck, man. I mean, so just to finish the timeline era thing, you like did the tour, you hopped on with Zenith, they finished Legendary. Everyone was talking about it. I was like, dude, you hear about Matt? Like, he's gonna do a Zenith now? Like, we're all like, that's crazy. And then I want to just touch on, you've been jamming with Oceano lately, and how much more money did they pay than death metal band?
It was like,
I mean, I know you're the band. There's just to be clear, like that's not.
No, it was well more than twice as much I've per show than I've ever had. So it was nice.
That's sick, dude. That's awesome. So, as someone who wants
to
be able to do this for a living,
make money,
dude, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. Yeah, dude, deathcore, dude.
Working with them for like, you know, the whole era of the band, like they've been around for like 15 years. So
yeah, dude, it's fun. It's really fun. I'm a huge deathcore fan, so I love like I don't know. I'm enjoying playing music where I can kind of like chill a little.
And feel the groove a little bit.
Yeah, feel the groove, relax into the pocket a little bit. At the same time, though, I'm not going to have I'm going to have to buy a lot more China cymbals because deathcore just destroyer of China's, just absolute destroyer.
Did you break a China during the Chicago shows?
I broke one rehearsing for a show, and then the second show I played with them, I broke the new one I got for those two shows.
Hell yeah!
I got real into it, and then I finished the set. I was like, that felt really good. I feel like I might have broke the China. Then I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's like this long of a crack, just from like this.
I love that, dude. I mean, you're beating that bitch, dude.
Yeah. Is there a drummer thing where like you're hitting it so hard that you crack it and the stick can get caught in it?
I'm sure it's happened. There's no way it's not happened in the history of the universe. That has to happen in the last 100 years.
Me and Matt have talked about Infinity. It's already happened. It's happened an infinite amount of times.
It will keep happening.
It'll keep happening. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah. Just a little lore behind the scenes. Matt was subletting my side of our rehearsal room to prepare for those shows, and I got to go in and Matt was jamming sometimes. And it was fucking sick. And I got to play on his kit, which is weird because you detune your heads on your toms like entirely. And I was just like, man, this I hate this feeling of playing your kit. It sucks.
It's uncomfortable for sure.
What's the purpose of detuning?
I
literally only put the heads on. By the way, shout out to Dom. Hi, Dom. I literally I just finger tighten my head, literally just like until I feel the friction. I just like stop, and so it's basically all you hit the tom, you sugar like it's like a fucking basketball. And like in the studio, that would sound like absolute ass. Like, don't do it. But live, when you're playing like tech death or extreme metal, all you're getting is attack, and like nobody's gonna hear. In my experience, if you're playing like, nobody's going to hear the tom resonance is just going to muddy it up. All people want to hear is the attack. It's just like why people switched over to kick triggers pretty much. It's because that attack is what moves it forward pretty much. So I figured out that, like, I watched a video of actually Mario from Gojira doing a drum solo, and I was like, those heads are really loose. I'm going to try that. And I started doing that. And now I just do that all the time. And everybody who sits down on my kit is like, what the fuck is wrong with your kit? And, it works really well. It cuts through live. You can hear it in the audience. Like, you'll hear the toms cut through, but at the same time, it is if you were to actually like close mic it and record the thing, it just sounds like it's poop.
I was like, oh, he like detunes after he plays. That's like must be some secret trick to like keep the heads like lasting longer.
Keep the tension
like,
off. Yeah.
I think that's kind of an oxymoron though. It's like tech death and resonance. Like, it's like there's not like resonance. It's like I mean, there's parts where it's like dun, or maybe that'll probably affect it more, but like,
right.
it's not like it's all about getting the hit in. It's not about
Right.
like, it's got to be tuned correctly.
Yeah, you only have
John
this much
Bottom did it.
space before the next hit anyway. It's not like
Right.
Have you seen the Danny Carey like little reels popping up lately and stuff? And he's talking
I have
about
seen a few of them.
all that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like the different toms, like, and they get like they start off thicker and then like the ply, and then they get thinner as they go down. And like the types of heads he uses on them, and then like on the rototom he uses like one plies and certain ones to get more attack and stuff. And
do you think drummers in the future are going to be like, they're going to be like jamming like one of those, you know, like Jamaican drums? They're going to be like jamming riffs. Steel drum. They're going to be jamming riffs like with the guitar, like with the toms.
How sick would that be? Steel drum death metal, dude. Like somebody who has a steel drum player, like that kind of Groundation. Shout out to the Professor for. They would be down with that. I'm sure. Groundation would put some extreme.
I could.
Groundation is not extreme. It's just very slow.
I could get that.
Dude, the professor has shown me that that Groundation hits way more boundaries than other reggae artists, dude.
So it's like 280.
I'm high as fucking. I'm drunk. All right,
riding the second wave of the second wave.
Imagine like
the second wave of the second wave, bro.
Technical, brutal 280 fucking reggae, dude.
Well, actually, Sean from Bludgeon and I we talked about that after I brought it up on the pod. We want to do dub slam for real.
Good.
Yeah.
Do something different. That's fun.
Dude.
That's a lot of fun.
All right, let me be on one track, dude.
I'm
all
we got
excited
you, dude.
about doing vocals now. Casey and I had a.
How's your patois, dude? Can you?
We had a conversation this week that made me very inspired and intrigued. So.
Hell yeah!
Vocals for me soon.
I got something I wanted to run by you real quick, guys. So, are you familiar at all?
Oh, it's gonna be a nude picture.
Are you familiar with it?
In the back of the front, dude.
You guys see that? Okay. So,
it's like
all like the all rototom kits. Have you ever seen this shit?
That's fucking sweet.
What are the top?
I love it.
What's the top rack for? Is
even
that
the kicks are rototom?
Oh, those things? Oh, those are like they're like roto, they're like metal ching chong.
Really?
They'll break down your fucking. You don't do that. They'll.
Dude, that thing is sick.
They'll break your stick though, right? Those things are stick breakers, right?
They're like little
for sure
roto cymbals. Metal like.
Those 3 symbols in the middle are intriguing as shit because I've never seen symbols.
Just go like,
well, they're not symbols. They're not. Like, are they chokes? Are they chokes?
No. They're like atmospheric little Chinese.
Yeah,
like exactly.
Like bells.
Yeah, whatever you call them. Yeah, and then like I wouldn't probably use those kick heads would be interesting, but you could use like clear ones and stuff. But yeah, basically, dude, that's a crazy that's just all attack, you know. Like basically,
it's all there's no.
That's what I should just get. I should just start using that. I need to get that now.
Hey, I got rotos in my studio. If you want to come by someday and try it out. Yep.
Be fucking rotos.
So wait, real quick, what's the difference between rotos and regular?
The attack.
Basically everything.
Yeah.
There's no bass frequency. It's all
maybe
like,
the hoop.
I don't even play drums. So I can see like it's like all attack, right?
It's like just the head, and you can like tune it up by turning them.
Yeah.
So there's a way that the tension is connected to the turniness of it.
It's basically like a drum, but like with no drum, like Anthony. It's like a drum made out of like a hoop with a head, and then there's like no body really.
Like regular drums.
No, there's no drum.
The head is in charge of making the sound, right?
It's basically like it's like a platform for the head, and then there's like a little thing around it or like a metal, but it's not a drum. It's not like affecting like
new shirt
the tone. So it's just they're cool.
Rip,
weird. but they sound kind of like, I don't know. I wouldn't know if
Did you use Roto on the Odious? You got your
I had like a
style
14. One. Yeah, I have a 14 Roto I got years ago, almost like 10 years ago. I still have it. I don't know. I didn't use it on the retro stuff, but I used it on the Odious stuff. I've last couple, well, the new one that's going to come out, whatever. But it's just like an extra little, like, it kind of sounds like a floor tom, but you can kind of mount it. Like, kind of has this like attack, you know. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I
see Portnoy's kit that he's using in the studio.
So big.
Is it?
It's like two.
Yeah,
it's like two chairs for it. Literally, you can't get it all with one chair.
Yeah, midlife crisis stuff.
They're sick.
Mm-hmm. It looks really nice.
What's the difference? He's surrounded by percussion.
Are you talking about the one that he did for Drumeo, where he did the?
I should find a picture of it.
He did like a Drumeo thing, right? When you played
Portnoy in the studio with Dream Theater, he brought back an old kit that he used during the Train of Thought era. The name of that kit, what does he call it? The fucking
Angry Rush?
No, he calls it the Siamese Monster.
The Siamese Monster.
I'm gonna pull up a picture of it.
Isn't that what they call Dream Theater? Angry Rush?
Oh yeah, yeah. But it's not. Dude. It's almost like, dude. I think Rush is more angry than
Thanks
Dream
for
Theater.
Explaining that, because it makes it so much more potent that you said that.
Jesus.
Oh my god, that's just absurd.
Sorry.
That's like the Eric Johnson of drums, where he has like every like riff he has like a different amp he plays through. I'm like, all right.
He's like hires a drum tech and he shows up to work. He's like, "Oh, come on, man!"
Yeah, that's too much.
That
half a
guitar tech, just with the fucking.
Only half. That was only a moon.
Every day you have to set that up perfectly. Like,
shout out Portnoy, the best.
Yeah,
and excited for Dream Theater for the first time in a long time. So.
We're always
boys. We're at almost 3 hours.
Yeah, I think I gotta go play some piano, guys.
Oh, dude, yeah, you can't leave that thing sitting there like that.
Nah, it's calling my name. It's still light out.
Sitting there, dude. It's still light out and
lighting. Ricky likes the lighting of that place a lot, dude.
Yeah.
So Matt, you're heading out on Chaos and Carnage with Zenith.
Yes.
So what's the lineup? It's a Cattle Decapitation, Carnifex,
Rivers of Nile,
Hell yeah.
Humanity's Last Breath, Zenith, Vitriol, and then Face Yourself.
Oh shit!
I'm a huge Humanity's Last Breath fan, so I'm very stoked for that.
Nice.
I think they're just absolutely heavy as fuck. And also that new Vitriol album's bonkers.
Yeah, everyone. I haven't listened to it yet, but I've had like 3 or 4 friends.
He's been our culprit.
Yeah, I've been pushing it.
It's angry.
Spoiler alert! We might be having the drummer on at some point. So.
Oh, Matt Kilner?
Maybe.
Yeah.
We're booked quite
Mr. Matt.
some time now.
Yeah, we got some fun ones coming up. It's gonna be cool.
It's fucking sweet.
Hell yeah! Dude.
So go hang out with Matt on that tour. If you see him, say hi.
Of course.
Are you you got anything else coming up you want to talk about?
I'm doing both. I've not announced yet, but I got some stuff coming up with Oceano. I'm doing on both sides of that, and then I'm putting out my first part of my Aegaeon music film this year.
Damn,
hell yeah,
that's awesome.
Matt, you are so interesting, dude. Like, we need to do something. I don't even care if it's recorded. I just need to.
It's like a him and a Paul Masvidal episode
with you, dude, because I know that there's things that we haven't broke into that you and I could vibe on for sure, dude.
Oh yeah. Easy 6-hour podcast.
Yeah, dude, this was an easy 3 hours. We're coming up on it right now, dude. So easy, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And that's what I love about 166 episodes into this, that we can just sit here and vibe, dude. And 3 hours later, boom, we got a fucking episode, dude. And I feel right now that I haven't even fully broke into you, dude. And I love that. And I want either a part 2 or some other shit where nobody's telling us we can't talk about film.
Right.
I literally said you could, dude.
I know.
Actually, you said it multiple times.
That was
I know.
never
I
a
just
problem.
feel like we can't talk about it as much as I want to get into here. So,
Right.
all right,
Yeah.
maybe that's just
Whatever.
me and ego and bullshit and all that stuff that I need to work out with a big blast out of psychedelics like Matt has had, dude. You need 6 hard doses of LSD, and then maybe I'll have.
By the way, for the people, I found it.
There you go.
This is the tour.
It's a
So
big
that's
boy.
it, dude.
That's a
very
fucking
sick
big boy
lineup.
tour, dude.
Yeah.
There's the dates.
And
No, I can tell, Matt, you came from a decent upbringing that exposed you to enough stuff that made you become the Matt that we're talking to today, dude. And I love that. I think that you're a genuine person. I'm really, really glad that we had this time tonight, dude.
Probably
no
the
doubt.
meanest person, probably like the most like rude person I ever hung out with. I think Matt, like top 10 most.
Matt,
rude.
you're so rude. You're never coming back on Cali podcast again, dude.
No, I
Most
love to hear your style on here. Though it's like a very.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people think death metal and stuff, and then you talk to them. It's like, oh, this guy's like one of the gnarlier death metal drummers. What an asshole, right? Like, it's like he doesn't have his brain together, right? He's actually in the zone and mellow, and that's a lot of people get their fucking shit out on death metal. It's awesome to see someone.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Well,
Most definitely, dude.
I'm very
Matt,
grateful.
dude.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you again, dude. Thank you
Hell yeah,
for
man.
gracing us with your presence tonight. I had a great time. This
Me too.
conversation has been awesome.
Yeah,
The chat, you've been awesome too. Always, steering the conversation, giving us things to throw in at the moment, and I love that. Battleforgecoffee.com is where we want you.
Full circle.
Yeah, I feel like I need some coffee right now, dude. So
well,
I'm gonna brew up some Battleforge coffee.
For the hardcore Cali Death Battle Forged heads, we've got something cool coming out for you soon.
We do.
So
I was actually debating whether or not I'd say it in the beginning, but just know that there's some cool collab stuff very near and dear to us that's going to happen. And yes, our death metal dads have called upon us to collab. So if you listen to this and you really love coffee, just keep watching because we'll be talking about it very soon. All right, Matt, dude, much love, brother. Thank you so much for your time, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Good
Thanks
shit,
for coming
awesome
on.
shit. Good shit.
Very cool.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I hope.
Thank you. Yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say, I hope I get to cross paths with y'all in person really soon too.
Hell
No
yeah,
doubt, dude.
Yeah.
Matt, I'm gonna be hitting you up tomorrow, dude.
Yeah, dude, hit me up. Let's do it.
Stay connected with you, dude.
Hell
You're
yeah.
you are definitely on my wavelength of homies that I need in my life, dude. So you are mine now. I'm gonna claim you.
Perfect. Dude.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody, have a great weekend. We're going to see you next week, as always. We've been doing it for 3+ years. Every week, we'll be here Thursday night on all your platforms. We're God form, dude.
Go Super Bowl.
Last Lucy tonight, dude.
Go Super Bowl.
Hashtag
This is
Lucy
my
Zenith
first
tour
wear of
confirmed.
this shirt. Feels nice, dude. It feels comfy. And
It's not
fit.
itchy. It's not one of those itchy, shitty shirts. It's a good
It's not
shirt.
itchy. It's
All right, good.
for
That's good skills.
the weather right now. It's working actually nice for not a long sleeve because it's thicker. Make my nipples feel nice, dude. All right. I love you guys, dude. The last of Lucy nipples. I love it all.